WhatsApp group or something. We do some book reading or something. Sometimes some woman joins our book reading sessions, and then they philosophical sessions and book reading. They also joins without invitation. They join. So I also heard that they class point of view they are allowed. Means even brahmachari they are allowed, but it appears that Shastra appears to be too strict about even that means talking and means how much we should be means what is the bond Lakshman Rekha means how much we can preach 2 months and that I want to clarification because there
Correct.
are 8 type of brahmacharya means so that there is always possibility
Yeah.
danger but we cannot avoid it
Yeah.
nowadays to if we want to preach then it's very challenging so how you means how you can guide about this.
No problem. So it is fine, right, bro? In a principle, we discussed also this idea. See, as long as you are sharing Shastra, and in that sharing of Shastra, there are men, women, boys, girls, it is fine. It is okay. Like, even I have to teach also, and so many batches, multiple batches of multiple courses. And you can, I can tell you, today's day and time is even in Mahavidyalaya, 65% are Matajis in any class, and 35% are Prabhus. Because Prabhujis are not having any time, Matajis have full time, and they are joining some 70% of the batch is Matajis only. And they are like, and like these husbands, they ask me sometimes, Prabhu, I have not completed Bhakti Shastri, Mataji is on Bhakti Vedant, so should I allow her or not? So I said, what is happening? You know, why? Because he is feeling so much inferiority that she is doing Bhakti Vedanta and this fellow is still struggling with Bhakti Shastri only. Uh, why? Because he has to work, he has to earn money, he has to run business and like that. And Mataji is free. She is housewife. Dhanadhan ek ke baad ek courses kar rahi hai wo. Uh, like that. So they were asking me, Prabhuji, what to do. I am feeling very inferiority, great inferiority I am feeling. Uh, and then naturally, woman learns Shastra more than man, then she is not going to keep quiet, right? Then, mouth also will begin. She is going to speak a lot of philosophy to him this way. So it is there somehow. That's the predicament in today's time. I see that so many Matajis and they learn also nicely, very quickly. They go ahead because they have time. One of the major thing is they have time. So they can spend a lot of time doing homework, making notes, this, that. So, so anyway, that is a different thing. But what I wanted to say was, yes, they are there. They will be there. So as long as we are keeping it, Prabhu, to the point, just sharing of the Shastra, no personal guidance. Now, like where it becomes tricky is, I will tell you, if you start giving them personal guidance. Personal guidance, how to organize their life, how to manage their life, even some philosophical queries. If they are once in a while somebody is writing to you, still it is okay. Like if at all someone wants to write some philosophical query, they are not feeling like asking in the class. So then I tell them to write. And then they can't send me audio message or they can't call me also. I said that please, you write a mail to me. Because then that mail is quite, in a way, impersonal, right? Where you don't have to deal with female energy, even the voice, because mind is so tricky, like even the voice is very sometimes troublesome. So that's why then they write some philosophical questions and strictly I try to also keep it philosophical. If I see that it is little bit also going into some personal guidance, I immediately say that you can ask some senior Grihastha Prabhuji in your community. This is the principle and this much I can tell, but practical guidance you should take from your Grihastha community. So that's how, bro. So even if one is preaching to congregation or like that, I think if you are talking Shastric principles, if you are addressing them in the class, in the question answers in the class, still it is okay. It's not a problem because we will not be able to separate even in a class. Sometimes they also want to hear from brahmachari teachers because they know that that these are good teachers and they are very knowledgeable people. So I have seen that, like, oftentimes there are, like, from Mahavidyalaya also we run Mataji batches where Mataji teachers are only there, but they want to hear from not them. They don't want to hear from them. They want to hear from the regular teachers whom they see and perceive as learned people and who know the Shastra very well. So that's why what I'm saying is, as long as you keep it very straight, uh, it is Shastric wisdom and which is being spoken, Shastric answers, principles, you're teaching Shastra, you're answering the questions pertaining to Shastra, it is okay. The counseling aspect, I think we shouldn't get into it at all. We just don't need to. Sometimes, even if you're guiding a couple, soon it becomes that within the couple, the woman is very prominent. So Prabhuji doesn't have time, so only Mataji has time. So then Mataji starts asking too many things and she starts taking a lot of guidance. And then that in turn can freak the Prabhuji out also, or at least it may create a doubt in his mind why so much time she is taking of Prabhuji. So, these are like very risky zones, Prabhu, I feel. Uh, so if you are guiding in preaching, some congregation preaching and all that, so best is if you can give classes, you can tell the principles, give the guidelines in those ways. But counseling, at least personally, I would say for a brahmachari, not good to get into. I think Raishampuru also is quite clear on that aspect. He tells that couples should be guided by some senior couples only, and brahmacharis can give classes and all that this way. And yes, that alertness has to be there, Prabhu. That okay, this is Mataji, and I cannot talk to her beyond what is needed there for that service. I just don't want to talk on anything else apart from that. So if we also keep that alertness within the mind, then we will remain away from unnecessarily talking, unnecessary dallying, or giggling, laughing, and just frivolous talk. We will stay away from that. Does
Yes,
that make
Rohit.
sense?
Yes, Rohit. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Jagadishwar Mohan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one question like this Saraswati, in this our current yoga, Chatusloki Brahma, which heard Chatusloki, that Saraswati is in what relation to Brahma now, and whether that is predefined, like, because now he will not be get bewildered.
Saraswati is wife of Brahma. Yeah, Saraswati is wife of Brahma, bro.
Okay. In this
Yes.
in this yoga also he sees his wife and
This Kalpa also.
yes.
Uh, Saraswati is usually wife of Brahma. Saraswati, that's how she is actually. Brahma's wife is Saraswati. Two wives Brahma has, Savitri and Saraswati. So typically, sometimes Savitri, yeah, Savitri is the very popular name. Sometimes she has some other name, but these two wives of Brahma are there, Savitri and Saraswati. So, yeah, that's how it is. But in this Bhagavatam is describing some particular story where we see that, uh, yes, Brahma got attracted to his own daughter only, meaning she was not meant to be his wife. In that sense, we can understand like that. So, yeah, different stories of different kalpas. But usually, Saraswati is considered Brahma's wife, even for Chaturmukha Brahma.
Which also you
Okay.
were telling one time that there are two types of Saraswati, material Saraswati or something like that.
Yeah, that is true. Yes.
What
There
is
is
it exactly?
Prakrit. Yeah, there is Prakrita Saraswati. See, Jiva Goswami explains this in Bhakti Sandarbha, uh, in the context of third canto, where description of spiritual world is there. So it is mentioned that there are these devas in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha. So he explains that there are certain devatas in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha also. So these devatas are known as Vaikunthiya Deva, Aprakrita Deva or Vaikunthiya Deva. And these personalities, he says that they are actually pure devotees of Krishna. They are not like Mishra Bhaktas like in the material world. So, like Chandra is there in the spiritual world. So there is a Chandra in spiritual world. In material world, he is a Devata. In spiritual world, he is a supreme, not supreme. I mean to say, he's a pure devotee. He is not a Mishra Bhakta. Similarly, he says Surya is there in the spiritual world. So these some Vaikunthiya devatas are like that. Similarly, there is a transcendental Saraswati also, one who is known as Divya Saraswati. So this Divya Saraswati is considered to be the wife of Vishnu, wife of Supreme Lord, actually. But the Prakrit Saraswati is wife of Brahma. She is not wife of Supreme Lord. She is certainly servant of Supreme Lord, no doubt. But that, yes, she is particularly married to Brahmaji. So in that way. So we can see that, yes, Prabhu, these Vaikunthiya Devas or Aprakrita Devas. So Saraswati is that person, Divya Saraswati, who is considered to be consort of the Supreme Lord.
When we say
Okay.
this Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire, it is referring to that Saraswati like that?
Yeah, actually, Bhanu Maharaj has written a comment like that. Originally, the commentary is not mentioning anything like that. Before I also spoke this idea, but that was based on Bhanu Swami Maharaj's comment, which he adds over there. Usually, this mantra is there in all the Puranas. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire. So some of the Gaudiya Vaishnava scholars have this understanding that because Bhagavatam is Amal Purana and because it is speaking about pure devotional service, so Saraswati here cannot be the Prakrit Saraswati. She should be Divya Saraswati. This is the idea. So I was like, one time I did some research also on this, trying to find out who is speaking this idea. But I didn't find any original Acharya speaking anything like this. And the mantra is there in all the Puranas. So in other Puranas and all, Saraswati is taken as Prakrit Saraswati usually, in that particular manner. So that's why here also in Bhagavatam's verses, whether this Saraswati means Divya Saraswati, as I said, that is opinion of some Gaudiya scholars. But at least I did not see in Acharya's commentary. So that's why I would, yes, rest it there.
So here, Gayatri and Saraswati is same, different. Sorry, I was
These are
little
different
confused.
personalities. Yeah, different personalities. Gayatri is different. Gayatri is considered to be mother of the Vedas, Veda Mata. So she is a different personality, and Saraswati is a different personality. Two are different. Gayatri is considered to be actually Lord's consort, while Saraswati is Brahmaji's consort. So Saraswati and Savitri are Brahma's consorts. Gayatri is Veda Mata, and she is considered to be Lord's consort. So different personalities. Okay. Okay, then I think we can proceed. We'll begin this chapter now. Chapter 32, Entanglement in Fruitive Activities. So this chapter, you can see, it's talking about the Satviki Gati. So you can see, Sridhar Swami says in his Karika, Dvatrimshe Satvikaihi Dharmaihi Urdhvam Gatir Udiryate Tattva Vihinasya or Tatra Jnana Vihinasya, two pathas are there. Tatascha Punaragatihi. Dvatrimshe, in the 32nd chapter. What is spoken? Satvikaihi dharmaihi urdhvam gati udiryate. Urdhvam gati is spoken, meaning upward destination, upward progress is being spoken. What causes this upward progress? Satvika dharmas. These are the religious practices which are considered to be satvika in nature, like that. So you see, satvika dharmas. Tatvajnana vihinasya tatascha punaragati. But if somebody does not cultivate the Atma Tattva, then we see that such a person, he comes back again in the earthly planetary system. Kshine punne martyalokam vishanti. If they have cultivated Atma Tattva, then only they don't come back to the earthly planetary systems, Bhuloka. Otherwise, they come back again to the Bhuloka once their punya is over. This way. Vishwanath Chakravarti also. Dvatrimshe tu sakama. Dvatrimshe tu sakamanam. Nishkama nancha karminam. Punaravritti anavritti procha abhaktan ninindacha. In the 32nd chapter, what all is there? The Sakam Karmis, their destination is described. Sakamanam. So their destination, having described Punaravritti, their coming back in the Bhuloka is described. So the destination of Sakam Karmis, that is described in this chapter. Then also Nishkam Karmis destination is described. So Sakam Karmis, Nishkam Karmis, and finally Abhaktan Ninindacha. And Kapila also criticizes those who are devoid of bhakti, non-devotees. So he critiques non-devotees also. So you can see the Sakam devotees destination, that is spoken from verse 1 to 4. First 4 verses talk about Sakam Karmis. Then 5, 6, 7 talk about Nishkam Karmis. Then from verse 8 to 15, there is Hiranyagarbha Upasakas, those who are worshippers of Brahma, Hiranyagarbha. So they are described from 8 to 15. From 16 to 21, there is criticism of non-devotees. Then from 22 to all the way up to text 36, there is a description that how bhakti can give the goal of all other paths. And then finally, the eligibility for receiving this transcendental knowledge is mentioned by Kapila. So these are the sections of this chapter. Destination of Sakam Karmis, destination of Nishkam Karmis, destination of Hiranyagarbha's Upasakas, criticism of the non-devotees, how bhakti can give the goal of all other paths, and finally, the eligibility for this knowledge. These are the contents. All right. Kapila Uvacha. Second. अथयो ग्रह में धियान धर्मानेवावसंग्रहे कामम अर्थं च धर्मान स्वान दोग्धिभूय पिपर्तितान. Yes, so who has not read and wants to read? Anyone? Yes, Narahari Thakur Prabhu, you want to read? Yes.
The personality of Godhead said, the person who lives in the center of household life derives material benefit by performing religious rituals, and thereby he fulfills his desire for economic development and sense gratification, and again he acts the same way.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. So you can continue reading for first 10 verses. Athayo graha medhiyan. So first 4 verses, Sakam Karmi's destination. So he says that this Sakam Karmi, what does he do? Grahe avasan, staying in the house. When we say graha, no, graha means bharya. In Shastra, graha does not mean house. Graha means actually bharya, wife. Grahastha means one who is staying with wife. Otherwise, by graha, if we mean house, then even brahmacharis are staying in house, right? They may have a simple house, or depends, they may have very lavish house, which temple they belong to, whatever. But the point is, graha does not mean a building or a residence. It means wife. I mean, that is the meaning intended in grahastha, one who is staying with wife. So staying with wife, one who, it is said, graha medhiyan dharman, he practices the household dharmas. He performs household duties which are mentioned in the Varnashrama. And it is mentioned kamam artham cha dharman swan dogdhi. So you can see what is considered is the dharma is being considered as a cow. And from that cow of dharma, he draws the milk of artha and kama. That is the meaning of kamam artham cha dharman swan dogdhi. So he is actually only procuring what artha and kama from the dharma. Actually, Bhagavatam says dharma should lead to apavarga, dharmasya hyapavargasya, nartho arthayopakalpate, narthasya dharma ekantasya kamo labhaya hi smrita. But because this is a sakam karmi, so sakam karmi means only 3 purusharthas. Dharma, artha, kama. Finished. They don't talk about moksha. They are not interested in moksha. So they perform dharma, that gives them artha. By artha, they procure the kama, enjoy the kama. Again, they perform dharma, by which they get artha, by which they enjoy kama. Again, they perform dharma. So it goes on, continues. Dharma, artha, kama, dharma, artha, kama, dharma, artha, kama. So they don't talk about moksha so much. If dharma, artha, kama, and if the moksha gets added, especially, so then that is called a jnana kand. Then those are actually followers of nishkam karma and jnana path. They are not considered to be sakam karmis this way. So we can see that sakam karmis, they are actually only interested in 3 purusharthas. So that's why it is mentioned kamam artham cha dharman swan dogdhi bhuya pipartitan. And once their senses are satisfied by kama, they again perform dharma only, again execute the dharma. By dharma means all those aspects which are there for varnashrama duties. Like as a grihastha, so he should perform 5 kinds of sacrifices. He should worship the pitras, he should worship the devatas, he should perform trisandhya, he should perform charity, dana, yajna, tapa, all those aspects, whatever. Tapa is not so prominent, but dana and yajna is very prominent. So all those activities, they are called as grahamedhiyan dharman. So he's into that dharma artha kama. There are 2 kinds of householders, Prabhupada says, grahamedhi and grahastha. So it's clear. So what is the grahamedhi? He does not want to stop the repetition of birth and death. So he does not want moksha. He only wants artha and kama. In fact, grahamedhi, this person, this can also be sinful grahamedhi and pious grahamedhi. So pious materialist or pious grahamedhi means sakam karmi. And sinful grahamedhi means materialistic person who has nothing to do with any dharma. He does not follow the Vedas. He does not follow varnashrama. He is just a outright karmi. This way. But whether pious grahamedhi or whether sinful grahamedhi, grahastha is a person who is different. He lives with family, wife, children, and relatives, but his chief aim is to achieve self-realization. So he actually accepts the ideal of moksha. He may need some artha, so he procures that artha. By that, he may need some sense enjoyment, so kama is there, whatever. Some standard arrangement for eating, sleeping, and he has also wife and family and all that. So the point is that there is some scope for artha and kama in that ashram, but he has also accepted the chief aim as the moksha. Then such a person is called grahastha. So here we are speaking about grahamedhis, pious grahamedhis in this way. So we see that they are only interested in dharmartha kama. Sachapi bhagavad dharmat kama mudha parang mukha yajate kratubhir devan pitranscha shraddhayanvitah. Yes.
Such persons are ever bereft of devotional service due to being attached to sense gratification. And therefore, although they perform various kinds of sacrifices and take great vows to satisfy the demigods and forefather, they are not interested in Krishna consciousness devotional service.
Yeah. So what is the characteristic of these people? Sachapi bhagavad dharmat kama mudha parangmukha. So they are kama mudha. They are bewildered, infatuated. Their intelligence is stolen away by kama, because of the lust, because of the desire to enjoy the senses in various ways, whether the sensual, sexual enjoyment or whether enjoyment of having huge money, huge resources, puja, labh, pratishtha, dambha, all those things. So kama mudha, one who is completely bewildered because of the lust, because of the material desires. And that's why Bhagavad Dharmat Parang Mukha, he is turned away from serving the Supreme Lord. He does not have any interest in that. So this is a characteristic of Sakam Karmi, that he does not have any interest in Bhagavad Bhakti. Bhagavad Dharmat Parang Mukha, जो भगवत धर्म से भक्ति से विमुख है, परांगमुख है. परांगमुख मतलब you turn your back on it. That's called parang. Yajate kratubhir devan. So what do they do then? These are pious materialists, right? So they worship the devatas, they worship the pitaras with various sacrifices. Deva yajnas, pitru yajnas. Shraddhayanvitaha. One good quality is there. having the faith in the Shastra, and they're having the faith in scriptures speaking about sacrifices and all that. So that is their Shraddhayanvitaha aspect. But they are said to be mudhas. Their intelligence is completely captured, stolen away by material desires. And they are disinterested in bhakti. That is their big, big disqualification. This way. Prabhupada says, so Prabhupada naturally, kama mudha, he connects it to kama isteste ritadjnana prapadyante anya devata. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says, yes, this phrase also means the same thing. Bhagavad dharmat parang mukha and kama isteste ritadjnana mean the same thing. These people, because of the kama, their knowledge is stolen away. They are bewildered. They are infatuated. This kind of so-called pious and religious man is the result of impersonalism. Now, some interesting point Prabhupada makes. He says this so-called pious and religious man is the result of impersonalism. Why? The impersonalists maintain that the Supreme Absolute Truth has no form and that one can imagine any form he likes for his benefit and worship in that way. Therefore, the Grahamedis or materialistic men, they can worship, say that they can worship any form of demigod as worship of the Supreme Lord. So we can see that Prabhupada is saying that because impersonalism says that you can worship any form and all, so these people think that you don't have to be Vaishnava or like that. You can worship anything as long as you are getting your desires fulfilled. So actually it is true also what Prabhupada is saying, because Panchopasana is exactly this idea. Shankaracharya established Panchopasana, in which the five deities, five personalities are worshipped. So either of them or all of them are worshipped, and they are all considered to be the indicators of Brahman, like Surya, and the followers of, worshippers of Surya are called Sauryas. Ganapati, the followers are called Ganapatyas. Then there is Shakti, the followers are called Shaktas. Then there is Shiva, the followers are Shaivas. And finally, Vishnu, the followers are Vaishnavas. So you see, all these five deities, because they are very prominent, they are considered to be the Suchaka, indicator of that Brahman. And one can worship any of them or many of them or all of them. And one can just continue his religious life, seeking the grace of these deities. But finally, what is ultimate is Brahman. That's the idea of Panchopasana. So what Prabhupada is saying is dot to the point. It is true. It is a result of impersonalism. We see that pious and religious man this way. So they just maintain this idea, oh, it doesn't matter. You can worship any deity. It's just important that you get your desires fulfilled. So actually, selfless worship of the Lord is a very rare idea. Even in this Sanatan Dharma, that kind of idea, practically how much you find it? Very less. So you may find these Vaishnavas in this Panchopasana. They may be worshipping traditionally Vishnu, but they are Smarth Vaishnavas. They are not considered to be pure Vaishnavas. You see, their idea would be very pathetic, something like that, Vishnu is also just one form of Brahman. And we traditionally worship, like one time in South India, I came across a person. So from 300 years, he was saying we worship that Vishnu deity. So he took me to see the deity, and very nice deity and everything. So I said, you are Vaishnavas then. But then I spoke to him and I was discussing some philosophy, and he did not know anything. He just basically had some impersonal idea And he was thinking that actually in the ultimate sense, whether Vishnu or Shiva or whatever, it's all the same. Sare ki sare wo, they all come from the Brahman, something like that. Those ideas he was speaking. So then you can see devout worshipper of Vishnu, but actually whole idea is completely impersonal. So that's a smart Vaishnava. So smart is not very smart because his understanding is not proper. That's why they are smart Vaishnavas. Okay, some kind of piety is there, so we can appreciate that cultural aspect and all. Born in a Brahmin family and all. But understanding is not good at all. So, like that. So, I said that this understanding that you have is not scriptural. It is coming because of Shankaracharya and like that. So, he said, I just don't know anything. Maybe you talk to our Kulguru. He may know these things. So, anyway, my point is, yeah, Prabhupada says that this impersonalistic kind of idea, we see that then people just worship any deity and think that it is fine. The worshippers of demigods are condemned both in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are condemned in the sense, in comparison to bhakti, they are condemned. In comparison to animalistic life, they are glorified. So frame of reference should be clear. Sometimes people get bewildered. They say that Shastras are so confusing, and demigods, sometimes demigod worshippers are glorified, sometimes they are condemned. So we don't understand what is Shastra saying. So many different messages. But the point is, you have to always see the frame of reference, right? What is the benchmark? If the benchmark is bhakti, then you criticize even jnana. Jnane prayasam udapasya namante. Even jnana is being criticized. But if you compare that jnana to karmakand, then jnana is so much glorified. Right? Jnana is so much glorified then. Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. Jnana is considered to be the great path. And if you compare that karmakand to animalistic life, then karmakand is also glorified so much. So it's just the benchmark, what is the frame of reference? What is your yardstick? So based on that. So this should be clear. Then the Shastra's message appears to be consistent. It will not appear to be inconsistent or confusing. Tat Shraddhaya Krantamati Pitrudeva Vrata Puman Gatva Chandramasam Lokam Somapa Punareshyati. Okay.
Such materialistic person attracted by sense gratification and devoted to forefather and demigods can be related to moon where they drink an extract of soma plant. They again return to this planet.
So we see that so because of that Shraddha in a particular demigod, Akrantamati, they are completely, you could say Akrantamati means they're completely consumed by that thought. Yeah, Prabhupada also says overcome. His mind is overcome completely. So such a person, he worships the Pitaras, he worships the Devatas through those Pitri Yagyas, Devata Yagyas, Deva Yagyas and all. So such a person typically is worshipper of Pitaras and Devatas and all that. So what happens to him at the time of death? Such a person, he goes to the planets like the planet, like the moon, Chandramasam Lokam, whatever the kind of demigod he is worshipping through his Sakam Karma, he will go to that demigod's planet, isn't it? So we see that they may achieve all these various destinations. So Chandramasam Lokam, because Chandra is considered to be the door. Chandra is considered to be the door through which you can go to all these planets. Why? Because these people, they go to their respective destination through something called as Pitrayan, like that. So in Pitrayan, Chandra is one of the main deities. Surya is not there. So Chandra Dwar, it is called. Dhumo Ratris Tatha Krishna Kshanmasa Dakshinayanam. Krishna also says, right, in Bhagavad Gita. So on this path of, we see that on this path of worship of devatas or the pitras, the destination is achieved through Pitrayan. So in Pitrayan, we see that there are these 8 deities that carry the living entity. So we know that these deities are there: the deity of night, the deity of smoke, the deity of Krishna Paksha. So in that shloka, Dhumo Ratris Tatha Krishna and all, that is actually showing the personalities. The personalities. If somebody follows the path of worshipping the Pitras or the Devatas through Sakam Karma, then whether any time of the day they die, doesn't matter which time of the day they die, they will be carried by the deity of the smoke. Deity meaning the presiding deity, the person. So there is one person who is in charge of the smoke, which is in charge of the Agni, which is in charge of Uttarayan. So these personalities carry that soul from one destination to the next, to the next, to the next, like that. So we see that these destinations are achieved through being carried by those deities. So because Chandra is one of the main deities in the path of this Pitru worship or Devata worship, Chandra is there, and that is considered to be like kind of entry point. So that's why Gatva Chandramasam Lokam Somapah Punareshyati. So they go there on Chandra Loka or any other Loka, Varuna Loka, Chandra Loka, or whatever, those heavenly planets which they are worshipping. And then going there, they stay there for some time. They are the residents, they become the residents of that planet. So there, then they enjoy the somaras, they enjoy the nectar and all these things. And then Puna Eshyati, once their Punya is over, then they come back. And they come back to the this Bhuloka. From that heavenly realm, they come back to the Bhuloka. So we see that once their duration, meaning the Punya is over, they can't stay there. See, they are only residents. It's not that they become Chandra or they become Vayu or they become all these demigods. No, they are only residents there. And once that Punya is over, the residence is also taken away. And they are, in fact, those residents, they themselves, knock them out of the planet. It is mentioned later that the resident, वही हकाल लेते हैं उसको, that's, as if they were very eager to drive him out. So once the punya is over, then those who were respecting them so much, they actually drive them away. So we see that that's the destination. This is called punaravritti. And they come back again to the material world, meaning especially Bhuloka. They come back again to the Bhuloka. They take birth again this way. Life on the moon is said to last 10,000 years. So we can see that that is very less lifespan compared to the demigod himself, right? Devatas typically live for, Indra lives for one manvantara, right? Other demigods like Surya and all can live for even up to one kalpa. So devatas, other devatas, so at least manvantara they live, but this moon is just 10,000 celestial years, like that. The demigod's time is calculated in such a way that one day is equal to 6 months on this planet in that particular manner. So we see that these personalities, they get to stay there for a very long time, almost like 10,000 years. In spite of being promoted to the moon, however, one has to come back to this earth again when the merits of his work are finished. Yeah. Yada cha hindra shayyayam shetenantasano harihi tada loka layam yanti tayete grahamedhinam. Yes, Prabhu.
All the planets of the materialistic persons, including all the heavenly planets such as the moon, are vanquished when the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari goes to his bed of serpents, which is known as Anantashesh.
Yeah. In fact, if someone were to ask, how is that they are knocked off from that place, although they had done sakam karma and they achieved those planets with a great punya. So how is that they are driven away, or they have to fall from those planets? So Kapila says, forget about those living entities. Their planets also fall. Huh? He gives a sort of counter punch on that. He says that forget about those living entities. They certainly fall. Kshine punya marte lokam vishanti. But their planets also don't survive. When do those planets get destroyed? So he says, Yada cha ahindra shayyayam anantasano harihi shete. When Garbhodakshai Vishnu, when he sleeps in Brahmaji's night, that time we see that Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he works out the Naimittik Pralaya. So when Naimittika Pralaya comes, that time, we see that Brahma sleeps there. All these living entities from Brahma's planet and all of them, they sleep inside Brahma, and Brahma, he sleeps in the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, we see. So, in this particular manner, we see that all these planets are destroyed that time till Swarga, from lower planetary system all the way up to Swarga. All these planets are destroyed. So, those who are doing Sakam Karma, they cannot go beyond Swarga Loka. Swa, that realm is there, right? So they can never achieve Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, and these planets. They can't achieve the top four. They can only achieve up to Swargiya planets. This way. So that's why these planets actually they get completely destroyed, flooded, and destroyed by Supreme Lord Sankarshana. So that's why it is mentioned here that if the planets themselves only are undergoing the destruction, so what to speak of those living beings, right? Attached persons do not know that even if one goes to the highest planet, Brahmaloka, destruction exists there also. What to speak of Swarga? Even Brahmaloka gets destroyed when the Prakritik Pralaya comes, right? At the end of Brahma's lifespan. Even that is destroyed. So that's why only by approaching the Lord's abode Vaikuntha Loka does not one take again birth in the material world. Prabhupada speaks about two kinds of dissolutions. One is Naimittik Pralaya, another is Prakritik Pralaya. Actually, there are four kinds of dissolutions. In this context, Prabhupada speaks about only two. In other places, he speaks about four. So we see that there is Nitya Pralaya, Naimittik Pralaya, Prakritik Pralaya, and Atyantik Pralaya. These are the four pralayas as per 12th canto. Nitya Pralaya is destruction at every moment. As soon as something comes into being, immediately it is moving towards destruction. That is called Nitya Pralaya. Then there is Naimittika Pralaya, which is Brahma's night. Then there is Prakritika Pralaya, which is end of Brahma's lifespan. And there is Atyantika Pralaya, which actually means the Jivatma going out of material existence, attaining moksha or attaining spiritual world. That is called as Atyantik Pralaya. So actually, Atyantik Pralaya is desirable. The other three Pralayas, they may cause great suffering, or they may destroy everything. But Atyantik Pralaya means destruction of the subtle body also. So one goes back home, back to Godhead, or like that. One attains moksha. So though that is the destination of Sakam Karmis. They go by the Chandradvara, by Pitruyam. Those particular planets whose deities they have worshipped. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Pitrun Yanti Pitruvata. So Krishna also says that they attain those particular planets like that. So text 4. Okay, that is over. So now the next 3 verses speak about the Nishkam Karma Yogi, who go by the Suryadvar, who go by the Devayan method. They're carried by the deities of, these 12 deities of Agnir, Jyotir, Aha, Shukla, Kshanmasa, Uttarayanam. There are 12 presiding deities there, personalities. So first they're carried by this Archideva, Agni, the presiding deity of Agni. Then they're carried further by the deity of the day, Ahaha. Then by the Shukla Paksha. Then by the Uttarayan deities. So like that they are carried this way. So these 12 deities are mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad, like that. So in these 12 deities, the Surya is prominent. Surya is considered to be one of the prominent person here. And Chandra is also involved, but the Surya is involved. And eventually Brahma is involved. And then spiritual world's resident is involved in the end. We see that such a person may be taken to the spiritual world, depends upon Nishkam Karma Yoga practice. If he is practicing Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga, then he becomes qualified to attain Shantarati in the spiritual world. So it's possible that way. So that's text 5. Ye swadharman na dohyanti dhirah kamartha hetave nisanga nyasta karmana prashanta shuddha chetasa. Yes.
Those who are intelligent and are of purified consciousness are completely satisfied in Krishna consciousness, freed from the mode of material nature. They do not act for sense gratification. Rather, since they are situated in their own occupational duties, they act as one is expected to act.
So these are Nishkam Karmis. Nishkam Karmis means Nishkam Karma Yogis. Sakam Karmis or Nishkam Karmis, when we say, we mean that path called Nishkam Karma Yoga. Sakam Karma is also known as Sakam Karma Yoga, also known as Karma Kand, like that. Of course, in ISKCON we mean Sakam Karma Yoga something else. But actually, technically, Sakam Karma Yoga means Karma Kand. That's how it is, like that. Nishkam Karma Yoga is the path where one is not attached to the fruits of the activities. And if somebody is attached to the fruits of activities, but one has accepted the path of Nishkam Karma Yoga, then he is called a practitioner of Nishkam Karma Yoga, not a perfected person. He is a sadhaka of Nishkam Karma Yoga. We don't call him as Sakam Karma Yogi. And that is not very precise understanding. Sakam Karma Yoga, Shastras, they usually mean by that Karma Kand, like that. But yeah, anyway, don't worry about it. You understand the concept. Words may differ, depends that way. So the point is, those who are attached to the fruits of their actions, they are considered to be Sakam Karmis. Those who are not attached to the fruits of their actions, they are considered to be Nishkam Karmis. If they are still not free from attachment of the fruits, they are considered to be sadhakas of Nishkam Karmis. If they become completely freed from attachment to the fruits or to their activities, then they become Siddha Nishkam Karmis. He's a perfected Nishkam Karmi, like that, in this way, right? Like on the path of bhakti also, if we have accepted the ideal of Shuddha Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, or Nirguna Bhakti. So if some devotee is not up to the mark, he has still attachment for fruits of actions and all, will we call him as practicing Sakam Karma Yoga? No. We call him as sadhaka. We call him as somebody who is trying to practice, but yet is not perfect at it. No. But somebody becomes completely pure from that desire. We see that he has become completely pure. Then we see that he is a siddha, he is bhava bhakta, prema bhakta, that way. So, yeah, particular path should be understood. What is the ideal that one has accepted? And is he striving sincerely to achieve that ideal? Then we see that that's considered to be that particular path. Only thing is one sadhaka on that path or is one siddha on that path? That needs to be seen this way. So, these personalities, swadharman na duhyanti dhira kamartha hetave. So, these personalities, Nishkam Karmis, they also perform Varnashrama duties, but they don't perform Varnashrama duties for the sake of kamartha hetave. They are not doing it because they just want kama and they want artha and kama. No, they do it as the duty. They do it for the sake of moksha. They do it. Let me do it as my kartavya. Karmanye vadhikaraste. I have my adhikar only in karma. Ma phaleshu kadachan. And not in phala. That belongs to the Supreme Lord. Ma karma phala hetur bhu. Ma te sangostva karmani. So they are not detached from actions, but they are detached from the fruits of the actions. So these personalities, they are not doing these activities of Varnashrama for Kama and Artha. They will receive Kama and Artha because they are performing Dharma. But the purpose is not that. The purpose is to actually offer the results to the Supreme. So that's why they are Nissanga. These personalities are devoid of attachment. Nyasta Karmanaha. They have given up. Especially Nyasta Karmana here would mean they have given up Kamya Karma, but Nitya Naimittik Karma will be there always. This way. Prashanta Shuddha Chetasaha. And they are very peaceful, they are very pure-hearted souls, Nishkam Karmis. The first class example of this type of man is Arjuna. Now, when Prabhupada says this, you understand what it means. What Arjuna is demonstrating in the first 6 chapters, that is Nishkam Karma Yoga. It's not that Arjuna is a Nishkam Karma Yogi. We know Arjuna is a pure devotee. He is a follower of Uttama Bhakti. So you have to sometimes understand the things, why Prabhupada says a particular thing like that. But the ideology that he is showing or Krishna is instructing him in the first 6 chapters, that is actually Nishkam Karma Yoga. Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. That's how. So when Krishna is instructing him to act like that, so Arjuna accepting that instruction, Prabhupada treats it as Arjuna being an example of Nishkam Karma Yoga, in that way, right? But we know that Arjuna is a pure devotee of Krishna in this way. So his acting in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is instructing the action for Arjuna to take up higher and higher inspiration to work, isn't it? In that section of 2.31 to 37, Krishna is Bhagavad Gita, I'm saying, 2.31 to 37. Krishna is just inspiring him to act on the level of Karma Kand. Then he inspires him to act on the level of Nishkam Karma Yoga from 2.40 onwards. And then that goes on till the end of 6th chapter almost. In 7th to 12, he inspires him to act on the level of Bhakti Yoga. Like that. So he is increasing the inspiration. Now to fight on the level of jnana and yoga is not possible because they are the paths of karma sannyas. So that's why Krishna does not encourage those paths in Bhagavad Gita so much. Why? Because the varnashrama duties and path of jnana, they cannot go together. It's not possible. Varnashrama and yoga, impossible. Varnashrama and sakam karma, possible. Varnashrama nishkam karma, possible. Varnashram bhakti, possible. So you see, he speaks 3 paths only, that's why major. He speaks about sakam karma kand, that too, he says only little. Later he condemns only kripana phala hetava. But he speaks about nishkam karma quite elaborately. And then obviously he speaks about bhakti most elaborately. This way. So, Nyasta Karmana indicates that the results of their activities are given to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this way. Such persons appear to be acting on platform of respective duties, but such activities are not performed for personal sense gratification. They are performed for the Supreme Person. So that would make Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nivrutti Dharma Nirata Nirmama Nirahankrita Swadharmaptena Satvena Parishuddhena Chetasa. Yes.
By executing one's occupational duties, acting with detachment and without a sense of proprietorship or false egoism, one is posted in one's constitutional position by dint of complete purification of consciousness. And by thus executing so-called material duties, he can easily enter into kingdom of the of God.
Okay, thank you. So they are interested in pravrutti or nivrutti. They're interested in nivrutti, not in pravrutti. Pravrutti means, material enjoyment. Nivrutti means detachment. Nirmama, they are free from I and mine conceptions. Mama means mine. Nirahankrita means they're free from I conception. I am this body and these things are mine. So they're free from that idea. They identify themselves as, in the initial stages, they identify themselves as a varnashrami. But later stages, when they get the jnana, the Atma Tattva, then they identify themselves as Atma. Like that. So Nishkam Karma Yoga path, after certain duration, then it actually makes one qualified for jnana. And at that point of time, the person receives the Atma Tattva, the knowledge. But till that time, they have varnashrama duties. But they do that with detachment. They may act as Brahmana or Kshatriya, Vaishya, but they do that with detachment. Swadharmaktena satvena parishuddhena chetasa. So because of practicing their own dharma very rigidly, so we see that they situate themselves in sattva guna. And they are pure souls actually. So that's how these personalities, they practice Nishkam Karma. So Prabhupada says they enter into kingdom of God. So it is possible that if these Nishkam Karmis, if they practice Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. See, Nishkam Karma Yoga can be practiced. It may be Bhagavad Arpit or it may not be Bhagavad Arpit also, right? Why? like if somebody does not have the aspect of devotional service within his varnashrama duties, instead he worships Brahman or like that. So then we see that it is not Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. One may just offer everything for the Supreme, and that understanding of Supreme may be Brahman. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, all that. So, but some other person, he may offer everything for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, results for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. So that becomes Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. And that is the kind of Karma Yoga Krishna is recommending in Bhagavad Gita. He is recommending the Karma Yoga which is Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. And this Nishkam Karma Yoga, Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga, we can see that it turns into Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and then eventually that Jnana Mishra Bhakti can give Shantarati. So one can enter into kingdom of God by Shantarati, like that. Otherwise, typically Nishkam Karma Yogis, they attain moksha, they actually attain Sayujya. These are typically the worshippers of Brahman aspect, and they may attain Sayujya. But Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yogi, he does not attain Sayujya. Such a person, as per Vishwan Chakravarti, he will gravitate towards Jnana Mishra Bhakti, and Jnana Mishra Bhakti gives the Shantarati, Shantarati or Shantaras. We'll see that. So that's how. So Prabhupada speaks Pravritti Nivritti. What is their destination? Suryadvarena te yanti purusham purvishvato mukham paravaresham prakritim asyot paravaresham prakritim asyot patyanta bhavanam.
Bro, the path of illumination, such a liberated person approach the complete personality of Godhead, uh, who is the proprietor of the material and spiritual world and is the supreme cause of the material world's manifestation and distribution. So,
Yeah. So these personalities, they go through the Suryadvar, they go to the path of Devayan, and they attain the Supreme Lord Purusham Vishvato Mukham, Paravaresham, that Supreme Lord who is master of material nature, spiritual nature. He is beyond Prakriti, and he is Asya Utpatyanta Bhavanam. He is the cause of all annihilation, destruction. That Purusha, that Supreme Lord, they achieve him. That is what is mentioned. Go to the Supreme Lord. The word Surya Dvarena means by illuminated path or through the sun planet. So those deities of the path of Devayan, they carry such a soul. Agnir Jyotir Ahaha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayan. So all those presiding deities of those particular places, they carry this soul, and eventually he is carried by sun and by further Brahma, and eventually by the associate of the Lord. He carries him as per Chandogya Upanishad. He is the proprietor of material and spiritual world. That Supreme Lord is being spoken. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The efficient cause is not matter, but he is speaking about this idea. Asya Utpatyanta Bhavanam. Lord is the material cause, Lord is the ingredient or instrument. Material cause is the same as in ingredient. Lord is also instrumental cause, meaning he gives the content of this material world, his material energy, and he also, by his glance and by time to time helping in the creational stage, he actually also creates the universe. So he is considered to be in that way material cause as well as instrumental cause. So this is how these first 7 verses are talking about destination of Nishkam Karmis and Sakam Karmis. Is there any question on this?
Just this Bhagavat Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga, first time I heard this terminology. Is Vishwanath Thakur uses this?
Yeah. Yes, everywhere in his commentary.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. But it was very clarified. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhuji, for Tamsik Gati, Yamdut come, and for Sakam yogis, basically those 8 deities come, and for Nishkam Karma yogi, these 12 deities come headed by Surya. And who are on this middle, और जो same middle planet system में रहते हैं उनके लिए कौन आते हैं? Who remain on the same planet?
See, correct. There is some disturbance.
I was asking that who remain on middle planet. Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm having some difficulty to hear.
We are able to clearly hear.
Who remains on middle planetary system for whom who come to take them?
Just a minute, Prabhu. Just a minute. I will just try to switch the internet. It is surprisingly, I don't get so much internet issue here in Govardhan, but in this week, every noon it is happening. Otherwise, I give day in, day out online classes. So usually I never face any problem. This is also a landline connection. So it's a LAN cable. So still I'm facing problem. That is surprising. Okay. So anyways, yes, Prabhu. So what happens is, I think you are asking what happens for those who are in middle planetary systems, and those who Rajasi Gati, what happens to them, who carries them, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yeah. So see, what is mentioned in Garud Puran is that usually speaking, even for the like Yamadutas, they come for extremely sinful souls, certainly. So that is Tamasi Gati. But there are these other people who don't have to see Yamadutas, but they are taken to the Yamas abode. So they are taken to Yamas abode through other personalities. And it's not very clear exactly. They have to go to Yamaloka, but they don't have to see the Yamadutas. And this aspect of justice is done to them, and then they move to the next destination. So it's not like exclusively only these are the paths of soul after the soul dies. I mean, not soul dies, but the person dies. So some of the prominent paths are mentioned like Devayan, Pitrayan, and also Tamasi Gati this way. But there are, apart from that, Garud Puran mentions that there are also different ways where the person may have to come to only Yamaraj so as to get the verdict. But basically, he does not go to hell. He only gets, it's like different combinations of punya papa. So he gets proper clarity on, what punna, what papa. So he has to see Yamaraj for that purpose. And some of the living entities, they don't have to see Yamaraj only. Like we can see here that these people, Sakam Karmis, Nishkam Karmis, they don't have to see Yamaraj. They are directly carried by these other deities. So they're based on their karma, whatever, by the universal system. So there seem to be like spectrum of these things. People who are taken by Yamaduta and punished by Yamadutas in Yamalaya, others who are taken to Yama through some other agencies, but they don't have to serve, they don't have to get suffering like by Yamadutas and all that. And then there are these Sakam Karmis, there are Nishkam Karmis. It is said that for Vaishnavas, for the devotees, um, like for them, those who are carrying, those who are practicing paths of bhakti and all that, and if they are not able to perfect, uh, so such beings, they are actually carried by Lord's devotees only to the next destination. So now this idea one place Jiva Goswami also mentions, but there is not much detail on that. That okay, somebody is perfecting, so we understand Vishnu Dutas come to take him. But what about a sadhaka? Who carries them? They don't qualify for Surya Dwar or Chandra Dwar because they have not practiced such paths, which are paths of Nishkam or Sakam Karma. But they have practiced pure devotional service. But they are not qualified to be carried by Vishnu Dutas also. So we see that in such cases, it's just mentioned that there are these some other beings, some other devotees, which are carrying them to their next destination. So, at least for the Rajasi Gati aspect, Garud Puran does mention that these people are taken to the abode of Yamaraj, but not for the sake of punishment, just for the sake of getting, clarity on, okay, which body do they receive in that sense. So at least that much I can speak on the authority of Garud Puran.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one small thing, like lakhs of devotees are practicing Krishna consciousness, and we have other sampradayas they are practicing, and not all of them will be getting success in this life. So what are their gatis in that sense? Because this is above these three, Sattvic and they will go to some higher planets, Maharyoka, Janaloka, Brahmaloka. From there they will practice pure devotional service, or again all of them will get human birth.
Yeah, it's like, see, two destinations Krishna is speaking is there in the 6th chapter, right? Prapya punya kritam lokan, ushitva shashvati sama. So that is one destination. And then other destination is such personalities, they're directly born in the family of those particular paths. Athva yoginam kule bhavati dhimatam. So if they have practiced for a long time, Baladev says that usually they are directly born in the next life, they are directly born in the practitioner of that particular path, like Bhakti Yoga or whatever, Ashtanga Yoga, it can refer, because they have cultivated a great advancement on that path, but still they have not perfected this way. If they have a material desire by which they want to also enjoy these planets, and at the same time they are aware in the path of bhakti, so then such people go to heavenly planets. So that is actually, Krishna is also saying that prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati sama. So there one qualifying factor is important, that they have not undergone the sufficient purification. The desire to enjoy is still there. So by the bhakti process, then we see that these people typically attain that, and then by that, having enjoyed in for those many years, then they are again born into some family of brahmanas or such personalities. So yes, for sadhakas, at least, he's suggesting a pattern of making great, tremendous advancement and making not so much advancement, continuing to keep that enjoying mentality. So that antakaran shuddhi is a very important factor. Even in the path of jnana or yoga, that antakaran shuddhi is a great criterion, where one has lost the desire completely to enjoy the material world, material senses, enjoy dharma, artha, kama, and all those aspects. So if that is there, antakaran shuddhi is there, then it is considered to be one has gone beyond, meaning one has attained a certain kind of platform. So if antakaran shuddhi is not complete, then such a jivatma would have to go to the heavenly planet. If antakaran shuddhi is complete, but still one could not succeed, then we see that such a person comes back in directly in the family of Yoginam Kule, whether Bhakti Yogi, Jnana Yogi, or whatever, in that sense. So that is at least a guideline that Baldev is giving very clearly based on that. Okay, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhuji. And thank you very much for describing that sadhak and siddhi. Sadhak and siddha.
Yeah.
So it cleared my concept. I always had a doubt, sakam and nishkam, but now it got cleared. So sakam karma yoga is karma kand only, and nishkam karma yoga is trying to practice nishkam karma yoga right now, who is the sadhak stage. So he has
Absolutely.
attachment for the fruits, but he's trying to give up the attachment. So today it got cleared. So thank you, Prabhuji.
That is true. That is an important concept. Otherwise, I've seen that, that concept is not clear sometimes for devotees. All right. Narhari Thakur Prabhu.
We hear that when we practice devotional service, Krishna says, if we have material desires, Krishna will take it away. So, yes, Nama bhaje mage visheshit, ani vigyaye murche. So that principle applies when it's generally as per our desire we get the destination. So when we have material desire, but Krishna purifies that material because sometimes Krishna fulfills our material desire and sometimes he purifies and it doesn't give to us. So what is that? It what it makes the difference?
Yeah, Prabhu, that will be how much intensely we are desiring them, right? If there is a great intensity of material desires, then Krishna may give that as fulfillment also. Of course, he still gives in a way that eventually one will give it up. Satyam dishatyartham arthito nranam, Krishna says. Ichha pidhanam nijapada pallavam. If somebody approaches the Supreme Lord with a material desire, so he may cause that person to forget that material desire. But suppose if the desire is very intense, unlike Pururava's desire was there for Urvashi, so then Lord may fulfill the desire and purify. For sincere sadhaka, he may not fulfill the desire and purify. Isn't it? So it also depends upon, are we at least ready to give it up? So we may, like, that's why Shastra does not so much condemn having material desires, but it condemns holding on to material desires. As a sadhaka, it is very natural only that we have material desires. But are we holding on to them? Are we relishing them? Are we, progressing them further? Or do we pray to Krishna that please Krishna take it away? I understand I'm a very fallen person, so please remove these desires from my heart. I don't want to desire anything material. I just want to be happy in your service. So do we express like that? At least. So then Krishna will see that this is a very sincere person, right? Although he has material desires, but he wants to give them up. It's just that he may be little having some hriday daurbalya, or he may be, because of the stock of so much sanskar and karma is there. You are born with a certain psychophysical nature, which may be very passionate, which may be very not so much pure. Right? Apna software or hardware kaisa leke aa gaye, that depends, no? If somebody's hardware, like sometimes you see, some people's software is like so wonderful. And they are like super sattvic people. So they're not bothered by lust much. They're not bothered by. I have some 2, 3 friends like that. Very pure people, very serene. Like, uh, so he is also devotee. One of them is a devotee. But the other guy is not so much interested in bhakti, but then he is very serene person. He just typical sattvic person he is. He is not bothered. He is not interested so much in sense enjoyment or money or like he is happy staying in whatever little he has. So so anyway, so what I'm trying to say is sometimes there may be great struggle because of our psychophysical nature. So at least we can express to Krishna by saying, like the way repentant, right? The yesterday also we were talking about that aspect that that Supreme Lord is revealed in a repentant heart in this way. So at least we express to Krishna that my Krishna, my Lord, I don't want to hold on these material desires. So you please take them away. You please remove these desires and let me be able to only desire your pleasure. That's it, nothing else. So that's why the prayers are there, no? Uh, why the prayers are there otherwise? In bhakti, we are expected to be prayerful. So otherwise, we have struggle with anarthas and we are not prayerful also. And we are, it's like Krishna will see that the person is basically happy with whatever is going on. Chalo, theek hai. But if we show some intensity in terms of whenever we see contamination in our heart, we want to really feel disgusted by it. We want to feel that really, actually, I am not a pure soul. And pray to Krishna that my dear Lord, please take away these material desires and let me be a pure servant at least. So at least any service we render, no, in the beginning of that service and in the end of that service, at least we can pray to Krishna consciously that my dear Krishna, I'm getting this service. Please bless me that I do this only for your pleasure and nothing else. I don't do it because I have to do it. I don't do it because there is nobody else and they put on my head only. Or I don't do it only because this is my duty. That is Nishkam kind of platform. Nishkam Karma Yoga they think like that. This is my duty. So we want to do it for pleasure of Krishna. So at least we can pray to the Lord. Uh, I also try this sometimes. I'm also trying this in my life. I'm speaking to you, but actually I'm speaking to myself primarily for my own sake. That okay, whenever some service is there, I try to pray in the beginning that let this be for your pleasure, Krishna, not to show my knowledge or not to impress someone, not to impress in anyone in that way, but only for glorifying you, purely for the purpose of your pleasure. And then in the end, you also thank the Lord for giving the opportunity to render that service, be it be anything, speaking or serving or cooking or deity worship. So, that's our hope, right? Krishna will at least see that this person is sincere. He recognizes that he is not pure, and he is also asking me to make him, his offering pure. So then we can see that Krishna may, bless us, that he will never then fulfill the material desires. He will purify us by not fulfilling material desires. Purification by fulfillment of material desires can be intense affair. We don't want to go there. Just like it happened with Pururava. Pura rula diya usko. Right? He got the fulfillment of material desires, but then how, itna rula diya direct aila git gaane laga. This way. So Krishna may deal with material desires in that way also sometimes. if we are too much desiring it. If we are happy to give it up, so then he will not allow them to be fulfilled in their life. Right? Like sometimes we see, in some particular brahmachari's life, suddenly some scenario where, some woman may come and then he may just give in to his senses. So now we can see, right? It is such an unfortunate scenario. So somehow in our life, if something like that is not happening, Krishna is actually really protecting us. Probably we also may not have that sense control where certain alluring situation comes, we may also fall flat. But by Radharani's mercy, Krishna's mercy, somehow that kind of situation is not coming, and we don't want it also to come. So it's actually protection by the Lord, isn't it? He is protecting. So otherwise, can we say that our heart is free from all lust or greed or puja labh pratishtha? At least I can speak about myself, right? So, but still, Krishna is protecting. Krishna is allowing that with such contaminated heart also you try to continue your service. So we want to remain sincere and we want to pray to Krishna that, yes, my Lord, please keep protecting us like this. It's not our glory, it's His mercy that He is protecting. Maybe whatever some little spark he may be seeing, that this person is at least praying to me that please never ever please let me never ever fall prey to my senses demands or like that. So he may consider. So anyway, I spoke very long. The sum and substance was, I think, by our prayers we can express to Krishna at least, and that way Krishna can protect. Okay.
Yeah, so small query, Prabhuji, Garud Puran you was talking about. So Garud Puran, generally in Indian tradition, they after passing the soul, they recite Garud Puran. So I had always a question, so why they why only Garud Puran? Is there only in Vaishnav tradition also Garud Puran is mentioned, or is for local understanding?
Yeah, Garud Puran, in Vaishnav traditions, we recite Bhagavad Puran. See, Garud Puran is recited traditionally because Garud Puran talks about that soul's journey, soul's journey after the death. So that section is spoken. So there are some few chapters on, I think 5 chapters on that. So those chapters are recited, Prabhu, because they will teach the people uh, about what happens to the soul after death and how we should lead a life uh, that way. So that's why Garud Puran is recited traditionally. And it is mentioned in Garud Puran itself that it should be recited. Garud Puran itself mentions. But we recite Bhagavad Puran, which is in fact, Garud Puran is also considered Satvik Puran, but Bhagavad Puran is Shuddha Satvik Puran. So at least in all the Vaishnav circles here in North India, I see that it's a typical, if somebody gives up life, uh, gives up body, then they recite Bhagavad Puran. A complete Bhagavad Puran is recited. They will recite complete Bhagavad Puran, meaning the verses are recited. Sometimes they even keep the katha of Bhagavad Puran this way. So, yeah, these things are there. Garud Puran should be recited is mentioned in Garud Puran itself. So, that is fine. Yes.
Means how it works, means soul remains there and he here benefit. How
Don't
it get benefit?
let's
How it
not get
benefit?
into. Yeah, we'll speak some
Okay,
other time.
okay, okay.
Somebody was having question, huh? He 2-3 times he was that Krishna
Hare,
Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, brother. Prabhuji, that 3 verses are about normal Niskam Karma or that Bhagavad Arpit Niskam Karma? This
What?
current 3 verse which we have read. No?
I'm not getting.
This last
This current 3.
Somebody is speaking.
These three verses are about normal niskam karma yoga or Bhagavad Arpit niskam karma.
3 verses that they are speaking. Okay. These 3 verses that they are speaking, that can refer to anyone, Prabhu. Meaning, general Nishkam Karma Yoga takes you to Sayujya because they have the Sayujya destination. And if it is Bhagavad Arpit, then we see that such a person can achieve Supreme Lord. So because the verse is saying Purusham there, he attains the Purusha. Now, attaining Brahman is not exactly attaining Purusha. No? So we can take it to mean that Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga. He attains the Supreme Lord in that way.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, Hiranyagarbha Upasakas now. So, you see, these Hiranyagarbha Upasakas, they are the worshippers of Brahma. They actually see Brahma, they have great love and devotion for Brahma. And we see that these Hiranyagarbha Upasakas, they may see Brahma as actually empowered by Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. But if they have some misconception about Brahma's connection with Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, then they have some problem in going back home, back to Godhead. So that topic is being discussed now in these 8 to 15 verses. So these are worshippers of Brahma. See, word Hiranyagarbha can be spoken in multiple ways. Hiranyagarbha can mean multiple things, right? Hiranyagarbha's one essential meaning is that Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. But Brahma is also considered to be Hiranyagarbha because we see that Brahma is considered to be non-different than the universe. He represents the universe. And universe is also called Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg. So that's why Brahma is also called Hiranyagarbha in that manner. So here the meaning is those who are worshippers of Brahma. And these worshippers of Brahma, they may have two kinds of attitude. One attitude is they consider him to be empowered by Garbhodakshayi Vishnu and thus subservient to Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Or some Hiranyagarbha Upasakas may think Brahma to be independent of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Of course, they know that he is born from Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, but they may consider him to be equally powerful as Vishnu also. They may see that Brahma is independent just as Vishnu and Shiva are also independent. Brahma is self-sufficient, independent, one of the 3 supreme lords. So they don't see him then in the connection with the Supreme Lord. They don't see him as Gunavatar exactly. They don't see him as someone empowered by Paramatma, by Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. So these two mentalities depending on these two mentalities, we see that the different destinations may be achieved. Dviparardhavasane pralayo brahmanastute tavadadhyasate lokam parasya parachintakaha.
Worshippers.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can read this, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay. Worshippers of the Hiranyagarbha expansion of the personality of Godhead remain within this material world until the end of 2 prardhas, when the Lord Brahma also dies.
Yeah. So what happens? These worshippers of Brahma, they are worshipping Brahma with great love and devotion, and they are basically devout worshippers of Brahma. So these personalities, after the after their life ends, then all of them, they go to Brahmaji's planet. So they attain Brahma's planet. And they can attain this planet by Surya Dwara. And they stay there for the period of Dviparardha. And they stay there for entire life of Brahma. But at the end of life of Brahma, there is this Prakritik Pralay, in which Brahmaji's life is also finished. So these people who attain Brahma's planet, Tavad Adhyasate, and they are able to stay there on Brahma's planet for 2 parardhas, which means 50 years. 1 parardha is 50 years. Like our Brahma is of the age of 1 parardha. This is his 51st year going on. So, Tavad Adhyasate Lokam, Parasya Parachintaka. So they are actually the meditators on Brahma. Parachintaka here refers to actually Brahmaji. So Prabhupada says about the dissolution. Persons who are worshippers of Hiranyagarbha, the plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, do not directly approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vaikuntha. They remain within this universe on Satyaloka or other higher planets until the end of the life of Brahma. So these people, when they give up body, first they will attain Brahmaloka and they will stay on Brahmaloka or Satyaloka for complete life of Brahma. Now what happens when Brahma's life ends? Then he enters into Mahavishnu, and then Brahma goes back home, back to Godhead. From Mahavishnu's body, he goes to the Vaikuntha. So for these people who are his followers, they also go along with Brahma to Vaikuntha. If they have the right conception about Brahma, they are actually devoted followers of Brahma. But if they understand his position very clearly with Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, they don't have this idea that Brahma is independent Supreme Lord, just as Shiva is supreme and just as Vishnu is supreme. But they understand him to be, Prabhupada says, the plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, which means that they understand him to be an Amsha who is empowered by the Supreme Lord for the sake of creation. So then they also go along with Brahma to the spiritual world. From Mahavishnu's body, they go to the spiritual world. But if they develop some misunderstanding about we being followers of Brahma and actually Brahma is supreme, if they think that we actually are followers of independent Brahma, he is independent. So we see that then they, from Mahavishnu's body, then they don't go back home, but they are born in the next cycle. When Mahavishnu glances on Prakriti, these people come back again in the material world. They come back again from Mahavishnu's body. Although they had gone in Mahavishnu's body and in Prakritik Pralay, they stayed there. But because of their misconception about Brahma, so they come back again in the creation through the Mahavishnu's glance. This is how it is. So, in fact, it is amazing. The next set of verses will explain that Brahma himself, a very rare scenario, the Brahma himself may have this sort of misconception where he may think himself to be independent of Supreme Lord. He may think that actually I am supreme. We three are supreme. So just as Vishnu is supreme, I am also supreme. So if Brahma develops that idea, then at the end of his life, when he enters Mahavishnu, From Mahavishnu, he should have gone to Vaikuntha, but he comes back again in the material world. In the next cycle, meaning when Mahavishnu glances on Prakriti, then that Brahma also comes out. And he again comes in the material world. So that is considered to be extremely rare scenario. So what to speak of followers of Brahma? If Brahma is having some misconception, some abhiman like that, then even Brahma comes back. Bhagavatam is saying very clearly. So this is the idea. So here it is mentioned that these followers of Brahma, they get to stay on Brahma's planet till the time he is there. Now Prabhupada gives the explanation of this verse also in devotional manner. He says, Parasya Parachintaka means always thinking of Supreme Personality of Godhead or being always Krishna conscious. So, yeah, being Krishna conscious here is in the sense that they are actually Hiranyagarbha Upasakas. So, if they are thinking about the Lord and Brahma in connection to each other, yes, so that is their Krishna consciousness, we can say. Obviously, they are not Kevala Bhaktas. They are not Krishna conscious in the sense of they are not pure devotees like the normal path. Because then they don't have to go to Brahma's planet, no. So you can understand, they are always thinking of Supreme Personality of Godhead in connection, Brahma in connection with the Supreme Lord. So they see Brahma as someone who is non-different from that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maybe as empowered incarnation, fine. But yeah, in their consciousness, Brahma is prominent because they are worshipping Brahma in that particular way. Okay? So that's why they go to Brahma's planet and from there they enter into Mahavishnu at the end of Brahma's lifespan. Kshmambho nalanila viyan mana indriyartha bhutadibhi parivritam pratisanjihirshuhu avyakritam vishati yarhi gunatrayatma kalam parakhyam anubhuya parasvayambhuhu. Yes, so we can have someone else read. Now, who was that? Krishna Kirtan Prabhu, you want to read? Yes. Okay. Anyone else? Kripa Sindhu Trivikram Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, bro. So actually, we are in Baspadi near there is some disturbance.
Oh,
That's why.
okay. No problem. So, anyone else
Yes, bro.
wants to read?
I'll read. After experiencing the inevitable time of the three modes of material nature, known as two prarabdhas, Lord Brahma closes the material universe, which is covered by layers of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, ego, etc., and goes back to Godhead.
Yeah. So you can see here, it is now this is the time of Prakritik Pralaya. So at the time of Prakritik Pralaya, Brahma is said to be Pratisanjihirshuhu. He is very eager to now give up this universe, which is made up of Kshma, Ambha, Anala, which is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind, intelligence, and all that. So this particular universe, which is made up of all these things, now Brahma at the end of his life, he is very eager to give up. So being eager to give up, Brahma, he enters Vishati. Whom does he enter? He enters Avyakritam, that transcendental Lord. So that transcendental Lord here actually means Mahavishnu. And from Mahavishnu, then eventually he also goes to the Vaikuntha, Mahavaikuntha, back home, back to Godhead, in this way. So it is mentioned that he enters Mahavishnu. Yarhi gunatrayatma kalam parakhyam anubhuya para swayambhu. So we see that having spent time which is parakhyam, which means two parardhas, anubhuya, experiencing the duration of two parardhas, that Swayambhu, Supreme Lord, Brahma, Bhagwan Brahma, he enters into Mahavishnu, like that. So this is how. The word avyakritam is very significant. The same meaning is stated in Sanatana, in Bhagavad Gita by the word Sanatana. So Prabhupada says Sanatan Dham, the spiritual sky here is said to be avyakrita. So yes, eventually the Brahma does go to that spiritual world, right? Certainly. So that's why he certainly goes to that particular person, which is Mahavaikuntha, which is Bhagwan Vishnu, that way. But before that, one step is there, that he enters Mahavishnu and then eventually he goes back home, back to Godhead, to Vaikuntha. Because next verse is speaking about that stage where he is within the body of Mahavishnu. So that's why we are saying that this avyakritam here it's basically just a step before going back home, back to Godhead. So next verse you can see it is talking about when Brahma is there in the Mahavishnu's body. Evam paretya bhagavantam anupraveshta ye yogino jitamanun manaso viraga tainaiva sakamamritam purusham puranam brahma pradhanam upayanti agata bhimana. Yes. Please read.
Yogis who become detached from the material world by practice of breathing exercises and control of the mind reach the planet of Brahma, which is far, far away. After giving up their bodies, they enter into the body of Lord Brahma. And therefore, when Brahma is liberated and goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Brahman, such yogis can also enter into the kingdom of God.
Yeah. So you can see, so all of them in this way, staying on Brahma's planet for two parardhas, and then when they give up their body, they enter Brahma. The Brahma carries them basically. Who are these? These are all followers of Brahma, Hiranyagarbha Upasakas. They have conquered mind and senses. They are completely detached. So they also, along with Brahma, they attain that Supreme Lord, Amritam Purusham Puranam, like that. So they also attain that Supreme Lord. Brahma Pradhanam Upayanti Agata Bhimana. They attain that Parabrahma, that Supreme Lord, Purusham, Puranam. It is clearly Supreme Lord here. But it is mentioned Upayanti Agata Bhimana. So here that word Agata Bhimana is very, very important. Because for those whose Abhiman is not gone, those whose false ego is not gone in terms of we are Hiranyagarbha's Upasakas and we are like separate, we are special, we are actually followers of Brahma and not Vishnu or Shiva. And that sort of Abhiman, if they have, then we see that they actually don't go with Brahma back home, back to Godhead. They actually come back in the material world, these personalities. So that idea is clarified in further verse. We can see that. But here Prabhupada clarifies that Hiranyagarbha Upasaka's idea, because he says, because they are not directly devotees of the Lord, they cannot get liberation directly. You see? So here now he is speaking about Hiranyagarbha Upasakas being not directly the devotees of the Lord. Although in prior verse we read where he mentioned that they go back home, back to Godhead, or they are worshippers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are not directly devotees, indirectly through Brahma. So that's why they cannot get liberation directly. They have to wait until Brahma is liberated. And only then, along with Brahma, are they liberated, right? If it is a normal bhakti path, then that devotee does not have to wait till Brahma gets liberated, isn't it? That devotee goes back home, back to Godhead, as soon as he gives up body. Of course, if he has developed love of God. But these people, they have to wait till Brahma uh, ends his lifetime, because they are actually worshippers of Brahma this way. Now, what happens is, uh, if they have that abhimana, if they consider that Brahma is separate from the Supreme Lord or like that, then we can see that such yogis or demigod worshippers are subjected to the chance of taking birth again when there is creation, like that. So we see that this idea is very clearly spoken ahead. It will become clear what happens. अथतं सर्वभूतानां हृत्पद्मेषु कृतालयं श्रुतानुभावं शरणं व्रजभावेन भामिनि.
Therefore, my
Okay,
dear
please.
mother, by devotional service, take direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart.
Yeah. So now what he does is here, Kapila, he at the end of this Sakam Karma section and Hiranyagarbha Upasak section, what does he do is, he tells that, so that's why, my dear mother, you please have this aspect of devotion. You please practice devotional service. In fact, you please worship that Supreme Lord. It is mentioned, bhavena. Please worship him with love. Please worship him with the bhava. Bhavena sharanam vraja. That Supreme Lord who is master of all the living beings, and he is there in the heart. Shrutanubhavam, and about whom you have heard. So actually, worshipping the Lord with all love, so for that one should also be Shrutanubhava. One should have heard the prowess, Anubhava, the potency or the prowess of the Lord. That is the method. Otherwise, not hearing any glory of the Lord, just, let me serve the Lord with lot of love. So it may lead to some Sahajiya kind of mentality. Sahajiya people are like this, no? हम भाव से भक्ति करनी चाहिए, लेकिन उस भाव के पहले आपने कितना श्रुतानुभाव, हाउ मच यू हैव हर्ड अबाउट दैट सुप्रीम लॉर्ड, दैट्स द पॉइंट, whose glories you have heard. So we should hear the glory of that Supreme Lord, Shrutanubhava. Then we can actually serve him with love and devotion, isn't it? But if we don't hear his glories, if we don't hear his greatness, his energies, understanding of all these various factors, then there may be a lot of misconception, and one may have very cheap understanding of Supreme Lord. Sahajiya people and all, they are like that. There is no Shrutanubhava in their case. They have not heard Lord's glories sufficiently. They just speak about bhava. Bhava is also not there. But I mean to say, they talk a lot about emotions and all that, some sort of bhava. But we see that because of carrying misconceptions about Supreme Lord, they actually become offenders only of the Supreme Lord this way. So that's why it's important. Krishna also says that etam vibhutim yogam cha yo mama veti. So he says, such a person sa avikalpena yogena yujjate natra samshaya. In 10th chapter, Krishna says this, that one who knows about my vibhuti and yoga. So vibhuti means material qualities, yoga means spiritual qualities. So Krishna says, if one knows about my spiritual and material qualities, sa avikalpena yogena, so vikalpena yogena. Such a person, he certainly engages in my bhakti अविकल्प, उसके पास कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं बचता है, लिटरली मीनिंग, without any choice, meaning that knowledge of Krishna is so wonderful that one will become bound to serve him. He will follow the path of bhakti, certainly. It's like that. So that's the idea behind Shrutanubhava also, this way. So Prabhupada speaks about serving Lord in various bhavas like Dasya Bhava or Madhurya, Vatsalya, Sakhya, all these. And the glory of that, in the transcendental world, the servant and master are one. That is the absolute platform. Lord Kapila advised his mother that she did not follow any, she did not need any indirect process. Right? Actually, Kapila's instruction to Mother Devahuti, they are just namesake for Devahuti, right? They are actually for us. Because Devahuti is already having love of Godhead. She's having Kapila as his son, as her son. So it is considered to be Pishta Peshana for her. Grinding which is already ground. So we see that Pishta Peshana. आपके पास आटा है, उस आटे को again you are actually making fine and fine and fine. So like that, she already has all this knowledge and she also is a pure devotee of Krishna. But still Kapila is telling this so as Pishta Peshana, making it even finer and finer and finer. And mainly he is speaking to us. Krishna speaking to Arjuna is primarily for the jivas. Similarly, these teachings are also for us. This is the point. So you can see now these series of verses, they speak about this idea that because of that abhimana, all these personalities, followers of Brahma, they can come back in creation even from Mahavishnu's body. You can see. Adya sthirachara namyo vedagarbha saharshibhi yogeshwarai kumaradhyai siddhair yoga pravartakai भेदद्रष्ट्याभिमानेन निस्संगेनापि कर्मणा कर्तृत्वात् सगुणं ब्रह्म पुरुषं पुरुषर्षभं ससंसृत्य पुनः काले कालेनेश्वर मूर्तिना जाते गुणव्यतिकरे यथा पूर्वं प्रजायते ऐश्वर्यं पारमेष्ठ्यं च तेपि धर्म विनिर्मितं निषेव्य पुनरायान्ति गुणव्यतिकरे सति. Okay.
My
Yes,
dear
please.
mother, someone may worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a special self-interest, but even demigods such as Lord Brahma, great sages such as Sanat Kumar, and great munis such as Marichi have to come back to the material world again at the time of creation. When the interaction of the three modes of material nature begins, Brahma, who is the creator of the cosmic manifestation and who is full of Vedic knowledge, and the great sages who are the authors of the spiritual path and the yoga system, come back under the influence of the time factor. They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities and they attain the first incarnation of the Purusha, but at the time of creation, they come back in exactly the same forms and positions as they had previously.
So you can see here very clearly, right? They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities, but at the time of creation, they come back in exactly same forms and positions like that. Why? Because sometimes we see that these people, they may have that independent kind of attitude. So you see, Vedagarbha, meaning Brahma, along with all the rishis, Yogeshwaras, Siddhas, Kumaras, and all of them, Bheda Drashtyabhimanena. This is the most important word. If they have Bheda Drishti and if they have Abhimana. So Bheda Drishti means they have this separatist vision that Brahma has the vision that I am separate from Lord Vishnu. I am independent. And his followers also have that idea that our master is independent. We are followers of Hiranyagarbha. We are not Vaishnavas. We are worshippers of Brahma. So because of that kind of separatist vision, and that causes an abhimana, that causes the identification with being a Hiranyagarbha upasak in that manner. Or Brahma may have abhiman of actually, yes, I am independent creator. So in such case, if this happens, then we can see, although they followed the path of Nisanga, free from attachment to the fruits of action, and they have worked like that, but still entering Sagunam Brahma, Purusham Purusharshabham, this refers to Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is considered to be Saguna Brahma, right? Or straight away, if you don't like that word, then Purusham Purusharshabham is there. Entering into that Purusha. And who is the Purusha at Prakritik Pralaya? There is only one Purusha called Mahavishnu. So they enter into that Mahavishnu, Sa Samsritya, and Brahma himself enters into that Mahavishnu. But what happens? Because of that Bheda Drishti and Abhiman, Punah Kale Jate Guna Vyati Kare. But because of that, in due course of time, when again Mahavishnu glances on material nature and he causes those modes to get agitated, this Brahma yatha purvam prajayate, वो पहले के जैसे फिर से जन्म लेते हैं. So you see, verses are very clear. Veda Garbha means Brahma, Bheda Drishtya Abhimanena means separatist vision, and Yatha Purvam Prajayat. He is again born as before. तो ये कैसे हो गया? He should have gone back home, back to Godhead. But he has come back. That is because of that Bheda Drishti and Abhiman. This way. Aishwaryam parameshthyam cha tepi dharma vinirmitam nisheva punarayanti guna vyati karesati. So having enjoyed the Aishwarya of Brahmaloka and that position of Parameshthi, meaning Brahma, but Nisheva means having served that, having enjoyed that, Punaha ayanti. Brahma and his followers, they come back again. They come back, Guna Vyati Karesati, when the modes are agitated by the Lord in again next cycle of creation. So you can see that Brahma himself is coming back if he has that Bheda Drishti and Abhiman. All his followers, they may be great yogis or sons of Brahma like Marichi and Vashishta and all such people. Or even Kumaras sometimes. So you can see that Brahma, along with Brahma, these personalities also are like posts. Kumar is also a post because they're different jivas, they come as Kumaras. Similarly, personalities like Marichi or Bhrigu, they also different Brahma and a different set of Bhrigu, Marichi and all they come. They are the Yogeshwaras, or you can see Siddhas and all these associates of Brahma. So we see that this is how it is. If Brahma is devoid of bhakti, if he has that separatist vision, independent vision, even Brahma comes back. Forget about his followers. That is the point. Brahma becomes liberated is known to everyone, but he cannot liberate his devotees. So Prabhupada says here, he is always accompanied, Brahma is always accompanied by great personalities like Marichi, Kashyapa, 7 sages. Bheda Drishtya means that Brahma sometimes thinks that he is independent of Supreme Lord, or he thinks himself to be one of 3 equally independent incarnations. Then in such cases, what happens? Because of that Bheda Drishti, Brahma has a slight inclination to think that he is as independent as Rudra or Vishnu. For this reason, after the destruction of this material world, when there is again creation by interaction of material modes of nature, Brahma comes back. So actually, Brahma should go back home, back to Godhead after the end of his life. But in this case, Brahma is coming back. So it is actually a very rare scenario, but it can happen. Vishwanath Chakravarti says, very rare it is. You can see, Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Kvachitka, this can happen, but in that planet where Brahma and his followers are actually not devotees of the Lord. This way, you can see. Kvachitka Brahmandavarti Brahma Brahmana योगी ज्ञान कुमारादि नाम अभक्तत्वाद उक्तम. ये कैसे संभव है? सो क्वचित, कभी तो, वेरी रेयर, some brahmanda may have Brahma and his brahmanas, meaning his sons, yogis or kumaras, and all of them, they are abhaktas, they are non-devotees. So there it can happen this way. Because they may develop idea like we are followers of Brahma and we are not followers of Supreme Lord. In fact, they may develop sometimes even Mayavadi kind of idea. Prabhupada says, no, Vishwanath Chakravarti says, you can see, Bhagavati api Maya Shavalita Brahmatva Buddhya. They may develop sometimes this idea that Supreme Lord is actually Brahman covered by Maya. Maya Shabalita Brahmatva. So they may even develop such an idea sometimes. We are worshippers of Nirvishesh Brahma. But this Supreme Lord is actually Maya Shabalita Brahma. He is Saguna Brahma, which means he is actually covered by Brahman. So that's why Vayam Brahmanubhavinaha. We are actually, we want to realize Brahman. Sakar Rupam Nishidhyama. We reject the Sakar Rupa. We are worshippers of Nirakar Rupa. So if they develop this sort of idea, these two faults, Bheda Drishti and Abhiman. So these two faults can cause them to again come back in the material world. So this is a rare scenario, but it can happen. Usually speaking, Brahmadinam Tesham tu Bhakti Matvad. Usually speaking, Brahma and his followers, they all have great devotion unto the Supreme Lord. So that's why that scenario is not very regular, but it can happen in this way. So you can see. That's how Hiranyagarbha Upasakas, they may go to Mahavishnu, but they will have to come back, just as Brahma also can come back in this way. So after this, so that completes the topic of Hiranyagarbha Upasakas. So after this, Kapila again criticizes this lack of bhakti. Why? Because, you can say because of lack of bhakti, even Brahma can come back again in the material world, or Brahma's followers can come back in the material world. So that's why, taking this context, he just criticizes absence of bhakti in Sakam Karmis. If anywhere where there is absence of bhakti, he critiques them in these 6 verses. So let's just take them and stop for today, because the rest of the chapter may take about 2 hours more, I think, 1.5 to 2 hours more. So we can pause after text 21. So you can see this is a critique of non-devotees now. Ye tviha sakta manasa karmasu shraddhayanvita kurvante pratisiddhani nityanyapi kritsnashah. Yes. Anyone wants to read?
Persons who are too addicted to this material world execute their prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. They daily perform all such prescribed duties with attachment to the fruitive results.
Yeah. So you can see he's speaking about people who are devoid of bhakti. So those who are only attached to some karma, what do? They do all these nitya karma and kamya karma and these activities. We see that they do it with attachment to the results. Apratisiddhani, which means they are just attached to the results. They just want to enjoy the results. Prabhupada. In this and following 6 verses, the Srimad Bhagavatam criticizes persons who are too materially attached. Rajasa kuntha manasa kamatmano jitendriyaha pitran yajantyanudinam griheshva bhiratashaya. Yes.
Needed, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you continue, bro.
Such persons impelled by the mode of passion are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. They worship the forefathers and are busy day and night improving the economic condition of their family life or their social or national life.
Yeah. So you can see that they are again said to be here. Kamatmanaha. Their minds are always filled with kama only. Rajasa kuntha manasa. And we see that their minds are full of anxieties, kuntha. They are ajitendriya. They have not conquered mind and senses. And what do? They worship these pitaras or devatas day after day because they are only interested in household pleasures. They are only interested in material prosperity. त्रैवर्गिकास्ते पुरुषा विमुखा हरिमेधसः कथायां कथनीयोरु कथायां कथनीयोरु उक्रमस् sorry कथायां कथनीयोरु विक्रमस्य मदुद्विषः.
Such persons are called Trivargika because they are interested in the three elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in the Supreme Personality's pastimes, which are worth hearing because of his transcendental prowess.
Yeah. So we see that these are Trivargika, meaning they are interested only three destinations or three purusharthas, which is dharma, artha, kama. Vimukha harimedhasaha, and they have completely turned away from glories of Lord Hari. So that's why Kathayam Kathaniyo Ru Vikramasya, we see that they don't have any interest in Uru Vikrama's glory, Krishna's glories. No interest in that. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as Hari Medha, or he can deliver one from cycle of birth and death. But they have no interest in hearing about marvelous pastimes of the Lord. So such people, that's why they are not fit for advancing in devotional service. Materialistic persons who engage in elevating their position in the material world are not interested in such activities of the Lord. They may be very much interested in some mundane stuff like politics, sports, or like that, but they are not interested in bhakti. So that's why Kapila condemns them. Nunam daivena vihita ye chachuta katha sudham hitva shrunvantya sadgatha purishameva vidbhujaha.
Such persons are condemned by the supreme order of the Lord because they are averse to the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are compared to stool-eating hogs. They give up hearing and the transcendental activities of the Lord and indulge in hearing of the abominable activities of the materialistic persons.
Yeah, so very strong words he says that these are daivena vihata. These are actually people who are smashed by the providence. Why? Because giving up the nectar, Achyuta Katha Sudha, giving up the nectar of Lord Krishna's glories, they hear Asad Gatha. They hear actually abominable topics, just some mundane topics of lust and anger and greed and all that. So they are compared to Purishamiva Vidbhujaha. Just as the worms in the stool, even if you take them out and you put them in some clean place, they again want to go to that same feces only, just where the abominable substance like stool is there. So that is because that's what they have interest in, that only. Even if they are put into clean place of flowers and like that, some very nice clean aromatic flowers, but still those worms will crawl to some dirty substance only. So similarly, these personalities are said to be like those hogs or like those worms. If you put in front of hogs some nice jalebi or some very nice rasgulla or like that, so sometimes they may just smell it and leave. In Vrindavan, it happens sometimes uh, that those bhandaras and all, bhandara is food distribution, prasad distribution. So sometimes they give so much that people throw it on the side. And then you see these pigs, they may just smell those jalebis and then they leave and they, eat the other abominable substances. Purishameva vidbhujaha. So you can see they are not even, they also have their choice. They are not even omnivorous, gluttonous, eating everything. Sometimes they just, they eat only those abominable substances. So stool eating hogs, Kapila is saying, these people also giving up Krishna Katha, not being interested in Krishna Katha. They want to discuss all mundane stuff, right? At least in bhakti, we should be careful of this, especially in today's day of social media. How much pure time we are giving for Shastra and studying Shastra, hearing Shastra, and how much we are just studying the stuff of social media or hearing this, seeing this video, seeing that video, what is happening in politics, what is happening in sports, what is happening in Indian politics. So we should also see actually. Sometimes it is very unfortunate, right? That even the brahmacharis may not be interested in hearing Shastra, reading Shastra, and they may end up spending more time in some social media, useless stuff also. Uh, Knowing some in the name of knowing what is happening in the world, actually. It may not be very useful, or okay, even if you need it, you suppose you have that info needed, but then are you giving some quality time for hearing Krishna Katha? Otherwise, udar zero. And here 2 to 3 hours on social media. You can see typically those people uh, eventually lose all the taste for Krishna Katha. Uh, they only want to see videos and uh, this and that. So pure time for Shastra is needed actually. We should read Shastra, we should study Shastra, hear Shastra, hear Guru Maharaj, hear Prabhupada. Uh, Especially with pure sound vibration of the Shastra, I'm saying. Sometimes hearing also becomes selective. And that hearing, whether the person is actually doing justice to the Shastra, we never know. Sometimes it happens like that also, right? People may just take one line of Shastra and then get into bombastic presentation where they are speaking ideas which are probably not much Shastric also. They may be their own speculations, or they may be coming from some social media stuff, outside world and all that. That's why pure Shastra. हाँ, कितना टाइम आप भागवतम पढ़ रहे हो डेली, भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हो, कितना टाइम आप pure Shastra is being discussed, where we are going verse by verse, hearing the ideas of Acharyas, hearing the ideas of Prabhupada, hearing the ideas of, um, yes, predecessor Purvavarti Acharyas. So we have to see that, otherwise, no. Bhagavatam may talk about this Purishameva Vidbhuja, and we only may end up becoming like that. I'm speaking something very, in a sense, unpalatable, but what I'm saying is I can tell you literally there are some brahmacharis I see in some places. 5-6 hours they are spending on, some social media and all that. And you ask them some Shastra study, nothing, they will not. This way. Sometimes they have their on phone only. Sometimes even if they don't have on phone, there are workstations, laptops. On there they are spending the time. Seeing इधर क्या हुआ, उधर क्या हुआ, यूक्रेन में क्या हुआ, और politics में क्या हुआ, what is happening in the parliament house and this and that. Do we need actually that kind of, are we reporters? Are we running some channels or what, saying such things? We may, if you are a preacher and you need some information, you keep that much information so that you know what's happening in the world. You can use that information for preaching. But, not being interested in any pure Krishna Katha, like that, right? How many people, they do have a, permanent rule of daily reading a certain amount of Prabhupada books. इतना तो मैं पढ़ता ही हूँ daily. I will read this much. I have to be in touch with pure Shastra because so much impure stuff I am taking in. So I will have to be. So when I read this verse, I really felt that we should not become Daivena Vihata. Because I'm telling you, the kind of influence that is coming from social media, people are losing the habit of reading. They just don't want to read. They don't want to read. They want to see everything as a video. Little better means they want to hear. They are okay to hear podcasts and all that. But why the aspect of reading going away when it is actually a very proper way to get in touch with Prabhupada's words? How much has Prabhupada written and how much has he spoken? Very little actually, audio, most of. We see that Prabhupada's written content is so much huge, his purports and all that. So that's why we shouldn't lose that interest in reading Shastra, discussing Shastra systematically, go one by one, verse by verse, this way. Otherwise, soon we will, lose that ability also to connect to the Shastra, understand and discuss and relish it this way. And because I travel for my teaching, I have to travel to many places within India, outside India also. I see sometimes the guy, meaning the brahmachari, is finished. He just doesn't have patience to hear even 30 minutes Krishna Katha, pure Krishna Katha. उसको कुछ तो दूसरा स्टफ चाहिए इधर उधर का, wants to just restless. He cannot read Shastra for 45 minutes. So, Kapila is saying so clearly. Prabhupada is saying everyone is addicted to hearing of the activities of another person, whether a politician or a rich man or an imaginary character whose activities are created in a novel. These are so many nonsensical. There are so many nonsensical literatures, right? Sometimes we see that in the name of knowing what's happening in the world, 4-4 घंटा log people pursue, politics, elections, कौन जीत रहा है, कौन हार रहा है. अरे ठीक है ना, you just know, okay, certain party is winning and this like that. उसको पूरा 6-6 घंटा उसके बुलेटिन देखते बैठ गए. This way. So it is actually, mind is like that. It is interested in prajalpa very much. It doesn't want the pure substance, you know. It is always looking for something which is not pure. It is looking for some ideas, some gossip. See, all this stuff that goes on in social media. Of course, one good thing is in Pune setup, we see that devotees, they are very focused on their services and all that. But you see, so much of this social media where, you know, everybody wants to make video on this, what is happening in our temple, this temple, that temple. Not good programs, I'm saying. Some management issue, some management problem, some so-called injustice, some this, some that, where you want to just come on social media platform and express it. You don't want to take up the proper channel of going through the Vaishnavas, you know, like that. So, you know, in English, they say that do not wash your dirty clothes in public. But oftentimes we see that because of that sensationalism, some or other guy wants to become famous by speaking, if not by speaking some good stuff, then by speaking some dirty stuff, some stuff which is very controversial in that way. So Prabhupada is writing such an important thing that materialistic persons are very interested in reading such literatures. But when they are presented with genuine books of knowledge like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Puran, they are not interested. है कि नहीं? ऐसा हो जाता है. You Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Shastras, that people feel like, अरे ये तो सुना है, या फिर there is no taste, basically taste is missing. But you tell some WhatsApp jokes, or you tell some stories or some mundane data, Google data, AI, this that, immediately people become very interested this way. So actually we are losing our appetite for the pure thing. It is very unfortunate. We should not lose our appetite for the pure things. जैसे होता है ना, प्योर घी पचाने की ही एबिलिटी चली गई. So then you can only take mixed stuff. So by that, what happens is you lose the appetite only for pure anything pure, pure milk, pure ghee, pure. Uh, so that's the disease in Kali Yuga. That's what happens this way. So these persons are condemned by the supreme order as much as a hog is condemned this way. If the hog is offered some nice preparation made of condensed milk or ghee, he won't like it. He would prefer obnoxious, bad smelling stool. Prabhupada is writing in very explicit language this way. So the message of Lord's activities is nectar, and besides that message, any information in which we may be interested is actually hellish. So these are directly Prabhupada's words, we can see. So let us be focused on reading Prabhupada books, reading books of the Acharyas, understanding the Siddhant in a pure manner, and keep our consciousness absorbed in that pure sound vibration. Dakshinena patharyamana pitrulokam vrajanti te prajamano prajayante shmashananta kriyakritah.
Such materialistic person are allowed to go to the planet called Pitriloka by southern course of sun, but they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruity activities from birth to the end of life.
Yeah. So what happens to such people? We have already discussed. Dakshinena patharyamna. They go by the path of southern course of the sun. Dakshinayan. So same thing. Sakam karmis is being spoken. So such people, they take the southern course of the sun, Dakshinayana path, and in this way, what happens is they go to the planets such as Pitruloka, or they may go to Chandraloka, or all these planets. Prajamano prajayante, and we see that after some time, when that is over, punya is over, then they again are born, and many times they are born in the same family from where they had attained the Pitruloka. So they may be born in that same family again after a few generations. And then they continue that all the sanskaras right from Jata Karma up to Smashananta, Antakriya tak, wahi, again, all those. Tataste kshina sukruta punarlokam imam sati patanti vivisha devai sadyo vibramshitodaya. Yes, last verse.
When the result of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to high position sometimes all of a sudden falls.
Yeah. So what happens? Kshina Sukrita, when once their punya is exhausted, they punar lokam imam. They again come back to this bhuloka. Patanti, they fall. Vivasha, helplessly. Devaihi sadyo vibramshitodaya. Where as soon as their punya gets over, immediately they are, driven away. They are bid to lose their position by the devatas themselves. Devaihi vibramshitodaya. That's the meaning. Caused to fall by the devatas, actually, meaning those who are staying on that planet. So they may have attained those planets, and for the punya time, they are allowed to stay there. But just like somebody stays in a resort for some 6-7 days, so as soon as that 6-7 days package is over, those same resort people will, make sure that the guy is out, right? They will help him to put his all the belongings and all in the car, so that quickly he can leave. So that is the idea. Devatas sent those people away, back to Bhuloka, this way. So that's why he says, this is the last verse. So just as after the Sakam Karma Yoga section, Kapila had said to Devahuti that's why you worship the Lord with bhavena. Bhakti is the most important thing. Because of devoid of bhakti, we see that the Brahmaji's associates, they are not able to go back home. So after that, immediately Kapila had spoken that verse of bhakti, verse 10. So similarly, after condemning now all this Sakama people, he again also says that that's why you worship with devotion. So he's highlighting bhakti, 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 bhakti. Tasmatvam sarvabhavena bhajasva parameshtinam tadgunashrayaya bhaktya bhajaniya padambujam. So that's why, my dear mother, please worship that Supreme Lord. Parameshti here means Supreme Lord. By sarva bhavena, by all your heart and all your soul, by investing the emotions in that Lord, my dear mother, please worship that Lord. Tad gunashrayaya bhaktya. How should you worship? By bhakti. What sort of bhakti? Tad gunashraya bhakti. Very nice word, actually. Worship the Lord by that bhakti which takes the shelter of his qualities. Meaning what? By the qualities of Supreme Lord, you feel inspired to practice bhakti. That is the meaning of Tadgunashraya. When you hear such wonderful qualities of Krishna, Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam, Kamva Dayalum Sharanam Vrajema, Uddhava says. Who else I will worship? Because, such a person, such a merciful person, that Jigham Saya Apaya Apya Sadhvi, ऐसी असाध्वी पुतना को भी, lebhe gatim dhatri uchitam. He gave a destination which is like a mother. So whom else I should worship? So now that quality of Krishna's extraordinary compassion and mercy, that inspired Shukdev to practice bhakti. That is called Tad Gunashraya Bhakti. So for that you have to hear his gunas. This is the point. If you don't hear only his gunas, then what is that Tad Gunashraya Bhakti? So again, just as in the prior verse he had said Shrutanubhava, that one should have sufficiently heard the glories of the Supreme Lord. Again, here also he says that hearing the qualities of the Supreme Lord, we feel like taking shelter of his lotus feet, that such is the wonderful person, Krishna, the way he deals with his devotees, the way he reciprocates with devotees, with the way he is compassionate towards everyone. So yeah, these are the factors which make sarva bhavena, like that. So that's the point. Even in Bhagavad Gita in Chatushloki, Krishna also says that, right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So those who are Buddha, those who have heard about me sufficiently, they will become bhava samanvita. They will develop bhava for me. They will want to serve me with bhava. So same idea is being spoken in the 10th verse, here 22nd verse, and as I got reminded of even Chatushloki. So that's the point. Sarva bhavena means in all loving ecstasy. Bhava is the preliminary stage of elevation before attainment of love of Godhead. So tad gunashraya bhaktya, Prabhupada also says. The bhakti is not material, it is transcendental, because Krishna's gunas are completely transcendental. Although the discharge of devotional service appears to be like material activities, it is never saguna. Tad gunashraya means Lord's activities are so sublime that there is no need to divert one's attention to any other activities. Prabhupada also is quoting that Krishna's mercy on the Putana, because that's quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami. So you can see that such transcendental activities of the Lord, they will inspire one to perform the bhakti. So that's why Lord is transcendental and his bhakti is transcendental. Okay, so that completes this section, which is the condemnation of the abhaktas. So about 16 verses are remaining in this, so I think we'll need a session for that, because there are some very philosophical verses in this section. Jnanamekam parachinai and such verses are there, which will need some explanation. But otherwise, yeah, about 1.5 hours may be needed for that section. So I think we can pause here. Yeah, just a minute. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Right.
Yes,
Monday,
so
Prabhuji, possible?
Monday, Prabhu, Monday and Tuesday I'm traveling. So Monday and Tuesday is difficult.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Saturday, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that we can complete this section. That's why you are saying?
Yes, Prabhuji, means.
Okay.
If you are okay, then we'll check the date.
So if this is finished, then what is the plan? Then directly we meet in March? How is it? Or you will
As of now,
arrange?
that's what, as of now, that is the plan, Prabhuji. But if you feel that we need 1-2, then in the next week, after Wednesday or something, maybe we can do 1-2. Because 3 devotees are going to Mayapur for Parikrama.
Right. No, I'm okay also. Like 26, 27, 28, certainly I can finish in one unit. It's just that 33 will be pending, right, after this. So 33 is, about 1.5 sessions again. Okay, let's see. No problem. Let's first finish 32. Once that is over, then, we are like better placed then, because 33 is also like conclusion only. Just Devahutis, some 5-6 prayers are there. That's all will take time. Rest of it is just simple chapter. So, I'm okay then. Tomorrow I can do to finish this chapter, provided you people are also not going out of the way. Otherwise, then we can do on Wednesday or Thursday.
Devotees Hare Krishna are okay tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Anyone has any concern?
So they seem to be okay then.
Yes,
So then
please.
it is better tomorrow only we finish, so that then, yeah, next week, even if we are not able to hold any session, still we have completed till 32. And one more week after that is there. So just see, if we keep for the unit 26, 27, 28, that would be most ideal scenario. Because then that will get completed certainly. If 33 remains, then we can, yeah, just make sure to complete it later or before, whatever.
Please, tomorrow time,
Same time can be there, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Or you want to put in morning or something? In morning?
Whatever comfortable to you,
Okay.
Prajit.
I am okay, Prabhu. I am like tomorrow I don't have any class, so I am free. And day after tomorrow, usually I'm occupied on Sunday, but Saturdays I don't have any class on Saturday.
Devotees are compatible with afternoon or morning? Anybody preference?
You can ask bus party wala first.
Oh, yeah.
11,
Krishna.
11, 11 to 1.
Yeah, we can finish in 11 to 1 easily. That should be okay.
Just suggestion.
Okay, Prabhu. You
Okay,
decide. As far as
Yes.
I'm concerned, I'm okay with anything except that prasadam time 1 to 2 that you can leave.
I think Prajit 11 to 1, then right now we can decide. Because everyone
11.
is okay. Yeah.
Okay, 11 to 1. Then we will finish this chapter. Yes, certainly, 100%. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Any questions on what we discussed? Anything on what we discussed?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, just a small question.
Yes,
Like,
Prabhu.
Hiranyagarbha section, if they are having a Bhed Buddhi, so Brahmaji can teach them that I am the supreme. And in second chapter, in second canto, Brahmaji tells Narad Muni that I am not the supreme. You are thinking I am supreme. So being their
Correct.
Ishtadev, he can teach them that I am not the supreme. So you worship that supreme person also, so they don't have to come back to this material universe again from Mahavishnu.
Correct. Now, what happens is, whatever, see, basically, it is like this, Prabhu, that once they leave Brahma's planet, no, whatever education has to happen, that should happen on Brahma's planet. When Brahma and they are together there. After that, it is more or less the matter is sealed there because they are giving up the bodies. And the subtle body, we see that the subtle body and the Jiva, Atma, they go there. Of course, for these personalities, we see that their entire body is subtle only in a way. But the point is this, that the execution of Brahma's instructions and all that, that can happen on Brahma Loka only, Satya Loka only. Once they enter into Mahavishnu, it is more or less fixed. There is no way that Brahma can instruct there or in this way. So what happens is these Hiranyagarbha Upasakas, although Brahma is a pure devotee, but still, in spite of staying in Brahma's association, they continue that abhiman. It so happens that because in a way with that we can conjecture that these are also, there is also the free will aspect, right? So although Brahma has a very pure understanding about his own position, and he is they are staying with Brahma for almost his entire life, but still because of the way they are utilizing their free will and all, they can have that misconception. Just like sometimes somebody in extremely good association can also may not benefit from that association, and he may continue to have some very big misconception. So similarly, they stay in Brahma's association and Brahma's associates, but still somehow they have that Bheda Drishti. So once they give up the body and enter into Mahavishnu, so now it is certain that they will have to come back. Because you don't hear of any activity over there, like in Mahavishnu's body or like that. It's practically their life is over now. So it's just matter of now avoiding the destination. It's like that. So if they become pure on Brahma's planet, it's fine. If they don't, then they will come back. In Mahavishnu's body, they are in Sushupti, no, Prabhu. So Sushupti means you don't act there on the level of Sushupti. It's like a deep sleep. So how will you expect them to be instructed in Sushupti stage? That doesn't make sense. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I was asking Brahmanok only that he can teach
Okay.
them.
Good.
You change your
On
conceptions,
Brahmalok
otherwise you
only.
have to come back. But you got it. It depends on free will. So maybe percentage would be quite less, but some may still have some
Yeah.
consciousness.
Some may. Correct. That percentage will be very less, certainly, but possibility is mentioned by Bhagavatam like that.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. Narhari Thakur Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I want to clarify understanding that in Vedic Vedas there is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Guru Brahma. So that I want to understand the meaning, because conception is point is coming here that Brahma is considered as supreme. And another thing is we hear that Prabhupada has given everything in his books. There is no need of other things. So there is some kind of that thing is also Gaur Govind Maharaj also says that point. So I want to understand these two points. In proper and context.
Yeah. See, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, uh, it seems to be a very popular verse. And uh, if you see that verse, they say that it is from Padma Puran. But like many other verses, at least in Padma Puran, we don't find that verse today. In today's edition, we have many things are attributed to Padma Puran, but somehow we see that these verses are not found. So at least I didn't find this verse in Padma Puran when I was looking for. So, okay, assuming that it is part of Padma Puran. So, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, it is in this sense only that actually the Guru, he acts in the same capacity that Brahma, Vishnu, or the Supreme Lord, Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva, they would have acted. They are known as the universal masters, Jagat Guru. They are known as spiritual masters of the whole world, right? Supreme Lord is anyway, he is master of even all the spiritual masters. But Brahma and Shiva are seen as spiritual master for the whole world. So the principles, the teachings that they would have conducted, a guru is supposed to conduct those teachings. He is supposed to enlighten the Jivatma like that. So that's why he is considered to be representing the same principle as Brahma, as Shiva. Right? Like there is Brahma Sampradaya, there is from Shiva, there is Rudra Sampradaya. So similarly, Guru, in that same line, he is supposed to represent the same teaching. So in that sense, he is Brahma, he is Guru, he is Vishnu, he is Shiva. Not in a complete oneness sense. That anyway, you understand that also. So it's in this capacity of being the teachers, Prabhu. They are actually considered to be the teachers. So, yes, in that sense, Guru is Brahma. How Brahma would have instructed, how he instructs, same thing Guru should do. And if a bona fide Guru is there, he will do. So that's why Guru is Brahma. Guru is Vishnu, Guru is... But people don't understand. They only chant these verses. People, right, hardly they understand anything. Oftentimes they just recite this. So for them, Brahma Tattva, Shiva Tattva, Guru Tattva, these things may not be clear also that way. So they may be reciting still. But yeah, see, at many places in Shastra, we see that things are spoken like this. That actually Vishnu is only Varuna, or Vishnu is only Shiva, Vishnu is only Brahma. So there are talks of oneness and there are also talks of differences. Uh, differences talk are also there always. Eko vai Narayana Sid, no Rudro, no Brahma. Sirf Bhagavan Narayan the, koi nahi tha. So clear cut bhed is being established. So that's why there are contexts, Prabhu. भेद का कॉन्टेक्स्ट अभेद का कॉन्टेक्स्ट समझ के बात करनी चाहिए. लोगों को क्या प्रॉब्लम है पता ही नहीं है ये. So as devotees, because you know that Guru cannot be equal with Brahma, Vishnu, so you ask that question naturally. What does this verse mean? But outside people don't know. So then they just accept it and they chant it. They may not have a proper understanding also. So when Shastras say abheda, then we have to know, see the context, क्या context है उधर, अभेद क्यों बोला गया. And when Shastras say भेद, that also has a context, but that is an idea which is fine, which will not cause much misunderstanding. The abhed can cause a lot of misunderstanding. So that's how it is. So I think that answers. So, and the second question is about this. Everything is there in Prabhupada books. Yes, it is there, certainly. Everything is there in Prabhupada books. There is no doubt about it. But is it in the seed form or is it in the detailed form? We have to see that. If it is in the seed form and if you want details, then you are not going to get that. So then you have to go to the books which give the details. Also, in order to understand what Prabhupada says, you need the help of previous Acharya's books. This is one very, very peculiar thing. I know so many people who might be reading Prabhupada books for 30 years, but because they don't understand the concepts in Acharya Parampara system, so their understanding of Prabhupada books is also mistaken. Why? Because they don't get the context where from he is speaking. While for someone who reads commentaries, the context of Prabhupada's words is crystal clear. So there won't be any misunderstanding on what Prabhupada means there. So that's why we should read the books of Acharyas. We should read the whole Sampradaya in proper line. If we disconnect Prabhupada from Sampradaya, then we will not even understand that we have actually deviated from the actual Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Why? Because we misunderstood his words, Prabhupada's words. He did not mean it, but we are taking it like that. So that's why whole any Sampradaya, to take Ramanujacharya, it's not that the Sri Sampradaya people only study Ramanujacharya's works and they have thrown away all other books. No. They still, before they study Ramanujacharya, Gita Bhashya, they will study this Yamunacharya's Gita Artha Sangraha. Before they study Ramanujacharya's commentary. Why? Because this whole Gita Bhashya is based on Gita Artha Sangraha. So they have crystal clear context of Ramanujacharya's words because he's referring those words of Gita Artha Sangraha. So somehow in ISKCON, this very strange ideology has developed where one feels like we don't have to read previous Acharya's books. So this is a very strange ideology, and that's why then a lot of misunderstanding of concepts and all that. And I would say these people are not following Prabhupada also. Why? Because Prabhupada himself writes in his purport that please study previous Acharya's books. I showed an entire presentation in one of the Brahmachari classes in Pune. I am not sure whether you were there or not, but I showed a complete presentation, direct statements from Prabhupada purport, where he is saying one should study the books of previous acharyas if one is serious devotee, if one wants to understand the things scrutinizingly. So he says that one should read these books. And these are not quotes from conversation. These are not quotes from letters, direct purport. So which are meant for everyone. These are universal instructions, right? So, that debate will go on. Don't worry about it so much. Sometimes people find also Acharya's books tough. So, because they find them tough to understand, then they just want to do away with it by saying that they are not needed. Right? It's a story of sour grapes, khatte angur. So because you have difficulty in understanding them, so you say they are not needed only. It is not right actually. Prabhupada himself will not be happy because he is writing in purport that you should read. And who are we to say that we should not read? It's just that the problem comes when people, they study Acharya's books and they start going away from Prabhupada's teachings, they start going away from appreciation for Prabhupada, and they start going away from Prabhupada's movement. They don't want to serve in the style that we serve in ISKCON. So that is a problem. So the loyalty should always remain to Prabhupada's lotus feet because finally he is the one who brought us in Krishna consciousness. By his books only we became inspired to connect to this entire great sampradaya of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So I speak on this topic many times and even in front of Prabhupada disciples I have spoken these ideas because it's very clear, Prabhu. If you take the Acharya's help, then your understanding of Prabhupada books will be very thorough. It will not be superficial. You also get the technical concepts very clearly. You are not confused about the technicalities because Acharyas write in a technical manner. But Prabhupada writes in more preaching-oriented manner. He is basically instigates to get up and preach and make devotees, which is wonderful, which is not there in Acharya books. So somebody reading only Acharyas, such a person may or may not feel inspired by this preaching aspect. I'm saying may or may not feel because there are many who feel inspired also. In Gaudiya Mutt also there are many people who read Acharya's books and they feel very inspired to preach. But those who read Prabhupada books, 100% they will be inspired to preach because that's his emphasis. He keeps on speaking that always. And even the practical lessons he speaks, his social commentary, his commentary on the topics of connecting it to the world, it's very nice actually. It's a very complete package kind of. But if the technical understanding demands some sort of fine thought, which Prabhupada has not given, then we should seek the help of acharyas and understand. All these books, Prabhu, even Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, people had not understood. Only after this Bhurijan Prabhu wrote Surrender Unto Me, referring previous Acharya's commentaries, then they started understanding Bhagavad Gita. It has happened like that. Otherwise, initial years, you see, all misconceptions about what is Gita's flow and all that. Only when these initial teachers like, Bhurijan Prabhu and all of them started referring to the commentaries and all that, and based on commentaries, they started giving flow. Then people started understanding, oh, this is what Bhagavad Gita, this is what Prabhupada means to say. That's how it is. Even Gaurang Darshan Prabhu's that Subodhini, Is it that he is able to get all the flow of those chapters based on Prabhupada purports? Little bit he can get, but primarily it is coming from Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary. The flow is coming from there actually. 4 verses speak like this, 5 verses next speak like this. Who speaks in this manner? Prabhupada speaks in this manner. You have seen any time? Very rarely he speaks like that. Now next 10 verses will speak this. That's the style of acharyas. They speak like that. तो ये सारा फ्लो वगैरह वगैरह सब उन्हीं से तो मिला है एक्चुअली. और उसके बाद लोग बोलते हैं कि आचार्य नहीं पढ़ने चाहिए. इट इज सो अनग्रेटफुल. It is actually being ridiculously ungrateful, I would say. Because you understand even Prabhupada's purport so nicely because of their help only. Otherwise, you have someone read Prabhupada books for 10 years and don't give him any Acharya books and then allow him to explain the Shastra the way we understand when we take help of commentaries, the flow, the sections, this is what is meant here. You see, it's very difficult. It's not that easy. I have not seen even big Prabhupada disciples. They sometimes have misunderstanding because they might not have read commentaries. So don't take me in a wrong manner, any of you, because I myself also appreciate Prabhupada's books very much. But what I see is very clearly, Prabhu, if the help of previous Acharya's books is not taken, no, then you may not understand what Prabhupada wants to say. You may understand basic, like Krishna should be worshipped, Bhakti should be practiced. This is like very basic that anybody will understand. But we are saying technicalities. Is this verse speaking pure devotional service? Or is it speaking some kind of karma mishra bhakti? What is Nishkam Karma Yoga? What is Bhagavad Arpit Nishkam Karma Yoga? Which leads to what destination? ये सब आपको नहीं समझेगा. Unless and until you take the help of previous Acharya's books. So that's why that is the standard method. You go anywhere. It's not that Madhva people read only Madhvacharya's books. No. They will primarily read Madhvacharya's books, but they will read Jaitirth's books also. They will read Vyasatirtha's books also. Because it's all parampara. Munitraya. Madhva Muni, Jayatirtha Muni, Vyasatirtha Muni. Similarly, Ramanujacharya's followers, they will read Yamunacharya's books, they will read Ramanuja's books, they will read Vedanta Deshikan's books. That completes their proper Sampradayas line. So similarly, in our Sampradaya also, there are books of Jiva Goswami which give very great clarity of Siddhanta. Then there are books of Baladev Vidyabhushan which give great clarity of Siddhanta. And then there are books of Bhaktivedanta Thakur which give also great clarity. And Prabhupada has combined all these wonderful Acharyas' works and also his unique flavor of commenting on the social issues, commenting on the and also giving the application. So I would see two uniqueness in Prabhupada's purport. One is the application and another is that thrust of the preaching. Very nice he gives that. And he also gives the understanding, the precision. But the kind of precision that is there in Acharya's books it's unprecedented. They're like extremely precise because that's what they write. That's how they write. That is their style. तो वो सारा फोकस उन्होंने वही बनाया है ना कि प्रिसाइजली वर्ड्स को कैसे समझाना है. So that precision will be extraordinarily there when Jiva Goswami writes or Vishwanath writes. But they don't have anything to do with application. They don't write anything for preaching. So if you read those books, then you may miss that element so much of application, of preaching thrust. But your understanding of Siddhanta will be very, very proper, extremely good. So that's why let's utilize best of all everything. We'll take from Prabhupada what he gives best. We'll take from Jiva Goswami what he gives best. Take from Vishwanath Chakravarti that rasa, which he gives very in the best manner. And overall, then that will be a good understanding. So that's what. So in the end, I will say that only. There are also forums, Prabhu. You have to know in which forum to speak in what manner. If we are studying Bhagavatam deeply, Bhakti Vaibhava, then that is a forum of serious philosophical training, Siddhanta. So there you can speak technical matters and clarity, terms. It's very important. If we start giving Bhakti Vaibhav teaching sessions also like, everyday Bhagavatam classes, then how is it Bhakti Vaibhav? Then better you just put all Bhagavatam classes as recordings verse by verse, and that is Bhakti Vaibhav course then. But that's not how Bhakti Vaibhav is expected. And you are studying Bhagavatam here. So understand the flow of Bhagavatam, understand the topics of Bhagavatam, analytical, that is needed. So Bhakti Vaibhav is that kind of forum where you have that technical study, certainly. If you speak Bhagavatam, then it is a general forum where you may speak some katha, some jokes, some Siddhant also, story also, Prabhupada pastime also, this, that. So people are actually confused where to speak in what manner. That is their problem. They feel like one particular presentation should be made just everywhere. No, that is not how. That is lack of insight into how teaching should happen and all that. This way. So, as and more we become serious students of Shastra, to that degree, misunderstanding can be very deadly. So, as you progress in bhakti and still you continue to carry some wrong ideas, no, it doesn't look good. It doesn't behoove as very good thing. So, Gaudiya Math and these people also, I see that they have this one of the objections with us, that saying that sometimes very senior devotee also will speak idea which is philosophically not right, just because he has not read it. So if we are educated in all those books properly, then we'll not speak such wrong ideas, wrong concepts this way. Okay, so fine. I can sometimes I spoke on this topic outside India for 1.5 hours, and Prabhupada disciples were also there. And in the end, they were saying, "Oh no, it's nice that what you are speaking is right," like that, because they said that after through commentaries, some of our very big misconceptions got clarified because when we read the commentaries and all that. So that's how it is. So nothing of my self-glory. What I want to just tell is keep a balanced approach. Fanaticism is deadly. Whether Acharya fanaticism, it is in fact very deadly if we are fanatic about Acharyas. And if we are fanatic about Prabhupada, that is also deadly because then we see that that can also cause a lot of problems this way. So best is Acharya Parampara, in which Prabhupada remains our main source of inspiration, understanding, but we also take support of Acharya's books. And that way, our understanding is very well-rounded. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthrash Bhutan ki jai. Very good. So let's meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock. No, not 11 o'clock. 11 to 1. All right, we'll finish this chapter. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.